Hello everyone, Saturday the 26th of June. I hope you are all very well today. Lots to get through today, so we'll cut to the chase as it were. This week, so yes, Indiana Jones has hit big trouble with Harrison Ford injuring his shoulder, and apparently filming could potentially be off for 6 weeks. So Mr. Mangold seems to be under more pressure. Speaking of Lucasfilm, according to the Atlantic website, Auntie Kathy is indeed gone. This, as we know, this article was covered in the last couple of days by Midnight's Edge and Doomcock, so we'll kind of leave that one to the experts. But basically, she's been ushered out the door in a polite way and not kind of to the, for the general public to see. So, yeah. So, Snow White this week, again with kind of the Disney stuff. Snow White was cast this week and it won't be. Think about that. So, more in a moment with that one. On to television. Television this week. Channel favourites, Superman and Lois, as again, delivered the goods. Morgan Edge and his father turning up and turning Superman into a villain, potentially. So we'll talk about that in a moment. Episode 3 of Loki dropped on Disney Minus. And that's right, news of the week. Loki has always been bisexual. Moving on. I think we should. Shall we get the guest out? I think we should. So here we go then. So, first off, a true Star Wars fan in every sense of the word. Here he is, all the way from Las Vegas. We have the wonderful, not Brian Young. Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Brown. Good evening, chat. How are we all?
Yes, good evening, chat. How are you, my friend?
I'm not bad at all. Yourself? Had you were in the wars?
Yeah, I'm recovering. I will just quickly say I had my second COVID jab on Tuesday. And it was pretty. I had a rough time of it. I almost felt like I'd caught it, which technically I had. But I will just say on a serious, because did I not tweet saying anybody who caught the real thing had my ultimate respect, because I had the jab. And excuse my French, ladies and gents, fuck me, it was brutal. So, yeah. So
I know personally I was out the game for a full 2 weeks, but obviously only the first week was genuine.
Yeah, I don't feel particularly brill now, but as they say, moving on.
The show must go on.
It must. So I will just say, if there's anybody who's not had the jab and is considering not taking it, I'm kind of thinking that it's possibly to your advantage to have it, but that's my opinion. So anyway, yeah. Shall we get the next guest out?
Absolutely. Let's get those fine lads and lassies onto this fine show of yours, Mr. Brown.
Okay, next up, he's the Jester from Leicester, the channel's very own painter and decorator, novelist, massive Star Wars fan, and is a decent bloke. Here he is, Demonscythe, Swap Shop.
I was having a drink then.
Moving on.
Without warning. Good.
How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm not choking, so that's good. I'm very well. How are you doing, Brown, after your nasty COVID experience?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm still feeling a little bit fuzzy. It kind of comes and goes of feeling okay and then just feeling, but I'm sure a hard session on the push bike will kind of sweat it out of me. So, yeah. So everything good with you? Yes.
Everything's good with me. Is it about as good as it can be at the moment? I suppose.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Been writing a lot this week.
Oh, good man.
Just when you're writing so much, you're doing something and you don't see the end in sight, and you feel like you're just treading water. You are actually making progress. It just feels like it's taking forever, but it was one of those things.
That's the Star Wars novel. Yes.
It is indeed, mate. Yeah, I've just gone back, reread some of it. It's like, what was I thinking writing this word salad? Seriously, just embarrassing. So I've had to reword a lot of it and cut things out, and that alone takes ages. So it's just a pain in the ass.
Don't forget, we're going to give the audience at home a bit of a preview in an upcoming stream. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think we need to catch up with it. So you're all good, yes?
Can't complain. I think we should get the next look. Next.
You read my mind. You read my mind. So okay, next up, the wise elder of the channel, the writer, the producer, the director, the fully paid up member of the Selfridges Appreciation Society, and hardcore soccer fan. Here he is, the MegaGeek himself, Ian David Diaz.
Hello.
Hello.
You right?
Yeah, you.
Rearing to go as always. Love Indiana Jones, so let's talk about Indiana Jones. Let's talk indie. Why not?
There's a rumor going around you like talking about films. Is that correct?
Oh, love talking about films. Depending on what film, though. I don't know.
Well, hopefully tonight's choice will not disappoint.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Good man. Shall we get the next guest out?
Why not?
And last, but by no means least, she's the princess of Xanadu, but she's become, well, in fact, she is. She's the queen of this channel. It's the delightful Reni.
Oh, hello, Mr. Brown. That's such a sweet introduction. Hi, Swapswap. Hi, Brian. Hi, MegaGeek. Always a pleasure to talk to you guys. I have a quick question for you, MegaGeek. What was your favorite soccer team again? And do you like to watch them at the pub?
You know what? My favorite sport is rollerball, and my favorite player is Jonathan E. And you probably don't even know what I'm talking about here, do you?
I do not. I've heard of rollerball, but I don't know what it is.
I do.
You don't know rollerball? And I'm talking about the original with James Caan.
76.
That's the only sport I will watch. Put it that way. There you go.
Everybody in the chat, hail chat, by the way, should check out Rollerball. Good film.
Yeah, it's a bit slow, but when they start playing the games, it's fantastic. So there you go.
We were expecting, basically, Cockney hipster Spock sends his regards. He has got family stuff, so family first. So, shall we get going then? Yeah.
I hope he's not doing a Matt Hancock.
Moving on. Moving on. Killing the stream before it's even got going.
It's crazy, right? Absolutely crazy.
It is. It's just a big stick.
I couldn't believe it. I thought it was just him meeting his relative, and then somebody showed me the footage. I was like, oh, so that's what happened. Absolutely.
Let's get it on.
What is that?
At least somebody's getting it, I suppose. So there you go, on 10 minutes.
He certainly got it, didn't he? And he resigned because they couldn't fire him, because if they fired him, he would have had nothing. He would have had no compensation, no nothing. And he resigned, so he's going to be put onto another job, which all is forgiven. and he's going to live his rest of his days until retirement by getting the taxpayers' money. There you go.
Gravy train.
That's
Living
right.
off the gravy train while the rest of us, excuse my French people in the chat, while the rest of us can go fuck ourselves.
Mm,
Pretty much.
yeah. So privileged white guy. Oh no. So there you go. How interesting is that? But anyway, whatever. Good luck to him. That's all I can say.
Bastard. Right. So shall we start off with Superman and Lois? MegaGeek, I am assuming you've not caught up.
Nope. Been working and been separating my time between me, work, and Sweet Tooth, because I'm really into Sweet Tooth, and I finished watching all of that now, and I just want to see season 2 because it ended in a cliffhanger. So I hope they are making season 2 because I really enjoyed it. So there you go.
I don't even know what it is, but moving on.
Sweet Tooth is a show on Netflix,
and
it's based on a comic book. So there you go.
I've added it to my watch list, so on that recommendation.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought it was quite good, personally.
So that's Sweet Tooth on
Netflix.
Right, okay. So I'm assuming, Brian, it's you and I again.
Just us again.
I'm just gonna. I've just wrote a little sentence down before we start, and I think I'm going to say this on behalf of the both of us. First, I would just like to congratulate Todd Helbing and Greg Berlanti for such a fine show.
Absolutely.
What do you reckon?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's
For me,
been pretty good this week, hasn't it?
yeah, not half. You know, for me, Superman and Lois showed a lot of promise early on. I think as the story's progressed, it's got even better. It's better and better. After this week's episode, I genuinely think, and I don't believe I'm saying this about CW, but I genuinely think it's wonderful. I really do. In short, it's got everything. It's got a solid storyline, good pacing, great characters, soundtrack, as we spoke about before.
Yeah.
It's superb and it's well filmed. I thought this week it was very clever how they managed to fit in the backstory while continuing the main story thread.
Yeah, the backstory which we saw, which was basically the first scene of episode 1, wasn't it? Where we got hit with the backstory and Dan Romer's fine music. Yeah. And as I said on a previous stream, I was literally just by all that coming together, I was in. Yeah. And they fleshed that out in this episode, didn't they?
I thought it was nice to see, you know, the kind of nervous, bumbling version of Clark Kent starting at the Daily Planet during the flashbacks.
Yeah, well said, mate. Yes, because we've missed the bumbling Clark, haven't we?
Yeah. I did, however, think that, you know, Kent's awkwardness was almost like the character's reaction to being a fish out of water, rather than, you know, the kind of conscious effort to misdirect people the same way Christopher Reeve's Superman had.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Would you agree?
I would totally agree. Shall we we won't. I will say it was all it was flashback scenes, wasn't it?
Yeah. I must admit, I did have a very brief moment of woke panic when Lois mentioned systemic problems. And we saw the SS graffiti. You know what I'm talking about, Demon? But I think the way that they told that very brief part of the story showed how much respect they had for the audience, you know?
Yes, because I think it was mentioned on Friday Night Tights. I think
right
mentioned it, that the term Yahtzees was mentioned. Yes?
Yep.
And the current trend of Hollywood is to once the word Yahtzee is mentioned, it's just basically grouping white man bad altogether, isn't it?
And they didn't do that in this episode,
and
did they? At all?
Do it. And wasn't it refreshing?
It really was. Minimal wokery, maximum entertainment from that show, and long may it continue.
And the transition from flashback scenes to what was going on at the current time, I thought was very good because I didn't expect it. I just thought we were just kind of going back to the beginning as an origin story to kind of bridge from when it kind of peaked the week before to when it's going to start again next week. Would you agree?
I had almost forgotten about the main story thread, you know, the way it was done, because I was so invested in what happened before it by that point. But the Black Shadow you used to keep seeing in before it. I'm wasting this for anyone who hasn't seen it, incidentally.
Yeah, it was kind of a shadowy, kind of phasey thing going on, wasn't there? So
I thought it was very well done. But I'm a convert, so I'm kind of biased.
I genuinely cannot wait. I've read the preview for next week's episode. I genuinely cannot wait. I think this is the best thing on TV at the moment.
I would agree. I heard there's supposed to be a little bit of a hiatus coming.
I heard there was something to do with is it a Supergirl crossover, but that has been binned apparently.
Well, I didn't realise that Tyler Hoechlin's actually been in a few of those episodes previously before this. Because I've avoided the Arrowverse because after I think it was the first episode of Supergirl, I went, oh God, this is going to be a nightmare.
So shall we just to sum up then, as we always say, everybody in the chat, you should check out Superman and Lois. It's the best thing on TV at the moment.
Get on it.
And get on it. You will not be disappointed. And I will just say, again, congratulations to the creators, Todd Helbing, Greg Berlanti. I'm going to timestamp this, you see, for such a fine show. And I would like to send them a genuine invite to come on the channel to talk about it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But yeah, we are absolutely loving Superman and Lois. So thumbs up, Brian, yes?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So here we go. So moving on. Who watched this week? Who watched it?
Anyone?
MegaGeek?
Anyone?
Has he nodded off?
Silence.
Sorry, I had to go for a pee. Sorry about that. Sorry, what was the question?
The question, and it's not a trick question. Did you watch Loki this week?
I did, and it was terrible. That's all. Really, I mean, it was really awful. Seriously, it was. Loki is not Loki that I know. In fact, I watched the Avengers again just to basically
a cleanser.
Yeah, no, well, it's not that. I wanted to know whether I was wrong, whether I remembered Loki wrong. So I watched Loki. In the Avengers. So Loki comes through the porthole. And,
well said, my friend. Well said.
And kills everybody in the room. Kills all the guards. Breaks someone's back by shoving him in the wall. You know, kills everybody. So he's evil. Then he makes Hawkeye shoot Nick Fury because he was wearing a bulletproof vest. He destroys the whole of Shield, complete decimates it, and then he brings down aliens onto New York and tries to destroy it. Now, if that's not evil, I do not know what it is. He
that's
also
before dinner.
That's right, and he also manipulated all the Avengers. And there's one scene where he manipulates all of them because he was trying to get to the Hulk so that Bruce Banner can change into the Hulk and destroy the place. That was his plan. He was very cunning. And I can't believe that they plucked him out of this timeline, brought him here. Now he's a sap. Do you know what I mean? Now he's completely useless, doesn't know how to use his powers. He cries in one scene. He's the butt of every joke in this movie. And he meets the female Loki, who basically
Sylvia
ups him on every point. And I just think I'm just wasting my time with this show because it's obvious. And also there was a scene in it where they were in a bar and they're talking and she says to Loki, on 20 minutes. So do you have a girlfriend? And he goes, no. And then she goes, do you have a boyfriend? And I was thinking, why you introduce this nonsense into entertainment, even though it wasn't very entertaining? And I was like,
very stunning and brave. That's why.
I was like, why am I watching this show? Anyway, I shall stop there.
Reni, do you want to go?
I did. I couldn't make myself watch it.
Look at you.
What is it that Cockney calls him? Cucumber Man or something because of the poster?
Yeah, the cucumber.
Yeah. Because I tried watching the first episode and I got into like 20 minutes of it and I'm like, yeah, no, this is not the Loki I know. Definitely not. And you're definitely right on that, MegaGeek, where he just basically, they turned him into a sap and like just like a whiny little bitch almost. And pardon my French, sorry. But, that's not the Loki we've gone to know from the comics. Like he's the god of chaos. He has fun creating mischief. There's not really a whole lot of mischief. It's just like little silly things that are happening. And I'm not into that. That's not who Loki was.
He got drunk in one scene.
He's a bit like Cockney Spock in many ways.
Good call.
Not like Cockney Spock at all. Cockney Spock's got more intelligence than this Loki.
He's got a bigger cucumber.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Seriously, this show is that none of the Marvel series that's come out so far has wowed me at all. I think all of them are really bad and didn't do anything for me personally as a fan. And this is where it's all going now. So, maybe I should just walk away from the MCU.
I think it's deader than my sex life.
Well,
moving
thank
on.
God I can't say that about my sex life. Anyway.
Matthew?
Yes.
Are you all right there?
Yeah, I've got absolutely no opinion on this whatsoever because I'm staying the fuck away from it.
Look at you.
Good call.
So you're just going to pass. So, Brian?
I don't tend to rant on
save
this.
I
think I might. I might have a little rant if you've got the time.
Go on then.
I usually try and stay positive about this kind of thing.
22 minutes, 30 seconds. Here we go. Timestamp.
Do you know what? It pains me to say this, but I don't like to say anything bad about the show because I'm a massive fan of Tom Hiddleston. I think the sun shines out of his wee pink bum, to be quite honest. But despite having given it the benefit of the doubt, I came away from episode 3 in absolute disbelief at how awful this show really is. I cannot recall an hour of TV where I've been so bored with what I've been watching. And to put that into some kind of perspective, my wife forces me to watch 3 episodes of Father Brown every week.
No relation, by the way.
Thank God. I think it's reduced one of MCU's most intriguing villains to an absolute clown, and it's embarrassing. It really is. Just picking up from what Ian said there, this week we discovered that Lady Loki taught herself all of her skills and that Loki had to learn from his mother. Yeah. Lady Loki knew from the start that she was adopted, while poor old Loki was kept in the dark until adulthood. We're also told that Loki is bisexual, which in itself is such a reduction of the source material. The original Norse mythology in which the character is based is not real.
We'll just get to that in a moment, so carry on. Sorry.
To me, the whole thing reeks of modern day activism. In fact, if you take a look at Kate Hearn's Twitter feed, she's the writer director of this.
Yes.
You'll see how delighted she is.
Did you read her tweet? Did you read her tweet, Brian?
I did indeed. You see how delighted she is that she's managed to shoehorn her own sexuality into this.
Oh, it's dreadful. I saw this, yeah. Absolutely.
I think we should be thankful at this point she didn't have IBS, otherwise Loki would run to the toilet every 5 minutes.
Shall we, Brian, do you want to read the tweet?
I will. From the moment I joined Loki, it was very important to me and my goal to acknowledge Loki was bisexual. It is a part of who he is and who I am too. I know this is a small step, but I'm happy. And my heart is so full to say that this is now canon MCU Loki.
Good luck with that one.
These creatives need to realise what a privilege it is to write the stories for these characters.
Don't call her creative. She's not a creative. She comes out with shit like that. Do you know
they need to learn to treat them with the respect they deserve.
Which is none.
None? Yeah. It's unreal.
Apparently she is apparently a little bit of a nasty piece on Twitter, apparently.
Well, stay away from her then.
Oh, is she like a female Ryan Johnson?
God, what
Apparently,
I thought.
I don't know. I think it was one of the streams. I don't know if it was Tights last night or something I've watched in the last couple of days. When she was appointed director or kind of showrunner of the show, several thousand of her tweets were deleted from her account.
Suspicious.
Like Ryan Johnson, 20,000 tweets went overnight.
Yeah. So there you go. So make of it what you will. So it's not good, is it?
No, because Tom Hiddleston, right? He's either blind or he loves the paycheck.
And we're not talking about Bob either.
No, exactly. So it's very subtle, but if you're like us, we see it, and normies don't see it. We see just like Reni has pointed out, that she wasn't taught by anyone. This woman that was in EastEnders, by the way, right?
No.
Wasn't taught by anyone. She developed her powers on her own. She didn't need no man to help her.
That's it. Absolutely.
So it's just, you read the underlining stuff of what she's saying. It's unbelievable. Again, it's this agenda that's been pushed in the shows that we should be liking. Anyway,
very well said.
May I go out on a limb here?
If you need to.
Sure.
I thought the woman who played Sylvie or Sylvia, I was quite charmed by her performance.
No, you're the only one.
But I just don't like the context of it all. If maybe she'd have been a different character.
Look, this character killed, hundreds and thousands of time cops, right? Does that look like someone that killed hundreds of thousands of time cops? They only cast her because she's a white female. That's it. End of story. It's bad casting. If you casted Katie Sackhoff basically as that character, you would believe it, wouldn't you? You believe it that she's that person that killed all those people in the beginning. But this girl, she looks like my next door neighbor. What's this all about? And she was in EastEnders. And
even her accent at times as well didn't sound like RP.
Well, it is. Like Ian. She's English. Me?
No, sorry, Mr. Brown.
I will say though, bearing in mind I'd been in bed 2 days suffering from a high temperature, so
that says it all. I think
possibly that mitigating circumstances. But anyway,
we'll forgive you for that.
Moving on. So we kind of they've done the Disney thing. And excuse my French, it's finally been arse raped.
Well, it's not really. I don't care what they do with this character. It's up to Disney. They own the IP. Let them do what they want to do. But I'll tell you one thing, I will not be watching. And loads of people will not be watching The Little Mermaid either. Because that's just so wrong.
It's just a... Disney, what are you doing?
I will not be dyeing my skin for this film, she says, as if anybody would want her to dye her skin for that film.
Did she delete that tweet?
She might have done, yeah.
Brian, you're jumping in here, my friend. I applaud your eagerness. I do, because it just shows we're thinking alike. So well done, my friend.
Terribly sorry for.
Don't ever apologise, as I've said before. Don't ever apologise. We will quickly. We mentioned this on Tuesday, so we'll just do a teeny weeny bit of an update. So, obviously, Rachel Zellweger was. She's going to be in Snow White for Disney Minus.
Whistle while you work. Yeah, I can't wait to hear her sing that song. I mean,
yeah, me too.
What about the dwarves? What are going to do with them?
Yeah, we kind of discussed that the the dwarves were going to be recast as people of average height.
Well, what about instead of average height, they just make them really tall people? To be ironic and be fair.
All black. So
there you go.
The basketball team, then, yeah.
That's right.
I thought the names were created because wasn't it something to do with disabilities, as in mental, like dopey and.
Being sleepy is not a disability, for God's sake.
Yeah,
well,
it is on the stream.
And grumpy, and grumpy. Grumpy's not a disability either.
Anger management. There are some people that have rage issues. You never know.
So one of the people of average height will be called anger management.
Oh, Snow White.
I like it.
Another member of average height will be called insomnia.
Narcolepsy.
Do you reckon
Narcolepsy.
she's going to need a woman to kiss her to come out of the spell? Do you think? It won't be a
Yeah,
white
it'll
guy.
be the female Loki, obviously.
Yeah, probably.
Be a crossover event, literally.
Oh, we'll have to sign like some kind of waiver or agreement form before he kisses her. You can guarantee that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So that was the tweet, kind of announcing it on Tuesday from Variety, and then about an hour or so after the announcement, she did that, didn't she?
yes, I am Snow White. No, I am not going to bleach my skin for the role. That's just a dig at white people, right?
I think
What
so.
did you say at the time, Ian? You said it was racist.
Of course it's racist. And it's really weird how people don't see that. BBC is racist to the core now. Absolutely. And sexist as well. So, what can you do, eh? I don't care anymore. Let them have what they have. People should be creating new stuff now, just ignoring them.
Brian, what's happened to this tweet?
I think I've already spoiled it, have I not? I believe it disappeared into the ether along with Ryan Johnson and Kate Herron's tweets.
All you need is one person to screenshot it.
Yeah, but it's here. People know it exists.
Yeah.
So there you go. But the Access Media will not mention it ever. So there's no justice in the world until that is fixed, I reckon.
What got me was, though, the data racer Twitter person is very good for kind of compiling tweets, kind of hashtag stuff, and putting them into a big screenshot. And data racer's been all over this. And what got me was all the answers to this tweet was, in a nutshell, it was tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet from Stans putting the boot in to Gina Carano.
Really?
And it's like, excuse my French, peeps, what the fuck has this got to do with Gina Carano?
No, right. Yeah.
They were just and some of them were disgusting. And it's like, what the fuck? What is wrong with these people?
Yeah.
Thank God Twitter isn't real life. That's all I can say.
It's not? Oh, dear.
What?
What? Yeah.
Stream killer on 3434 from Not Brian Young.
Moving on.
It's
Moving
crazy,
on.
right? People are crazy. This world's going mad now. So, well, then again, we've always said that, didn't we? So, yeah. What's next?
So,
John Boyega. He's from my neck of woods, South London. He's a South London boy, isn't he?
yeah, this was a tweet from Stephen at Stephen the Artist. John, basically, in the story is John Boyega has walked off a Netflix film.
Oh.
He just basically went, no, that's it. Apparently, it was family reasons, but there's been a few articles saying he departed from the 25 million production. Sources on the film said he basically just walked away from it.
But why?
His blue tick mark on Twitter has been removed, which is highly unusual.
Oh.
So, do you think it has something to do with the script? Maybe it was he saw the light and said, "Oh, this is too woke. I'm walking away from it." Do you think it's that?
Our friend of the channel, Cameron Pasha, who's really up on all this stuff. Hail Cameron.
Hail Cameron.
He's good as Cameron. In a sentence, just says there, looks like John Boyega, if I can say it, went red pill and the system wants to shut him down.
Well, good for him. At least he's standing up for what he believes.
Yeah.
If that's the case, of course. More people should be like him. It looks like him and Kevin Hart the only ones that are speaking out.
Gina Carano.
Oh, and Gina, sorry. And Gina. Yeah.
Maybe it's starting.
Maybe the pushback's beginning. Yeah, we cannot hope.
That would be great.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
His checkmark is actually back at the moment, but there's no new
Oh, is it
tweets.
back?
So we're still lost as to what happened.
Curious. Yeah.
Oh well, he'll come out. It always does. News
We'll
always
find out
comes
eventually.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys know John Boyega can't keep his mouth shut for long. He'll say it. He'll wind up
Yeah, he's a bit of a
posting,
loose
like,
cannon.
video or
Yeah.
yeah. He's got loose lips. He'll say it.
And
Thing is,
we all
though-
know loose lips sink
Same
ships.
ships.
Well, hopefully he'll sink this woke ship. Hopefully.
Yeah.
One day, but we'll see, right?
Blow it to smithereens. Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah.
It needs scuttling, yes.
I mean, I just like to make it clear that basically we are not saying that we do not agree with women being in front, blah, 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 blah. What we want is equality. That's what we want, equality in everything. So
As a female, there's nothing wrong with wanting equality, but like I feel like we're living in a world or a society of female superiority. I don't want that. I don't need to be better than a man. That's silly. I think they're just going overboard and like overdoing it. We don't have to be
Overcorrection.
superior. Yeah, exactly. We don't have to be superior. We just have to be equal. So why not just, let things be?
It's like saying that you do not like racism and as a black person, and then suddenly you're a racist. You can't fight one bad thing with another bad thing. You have to be better than that bad thing and be a better person.
Absolutely.
So this is what they're doing. They just, it looks like these blue-haired people with want to rule and just slam everything that they don't like, which is bad. So there you go.
Blue hair bad.
Blue hair bad. Yeah.
Blue hair bad.
Blue hair bad with bad BO and lots of hairy armpits. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Hairy armpits.
Yeah.
Body positive.
So I'll just say for the peeps in the chat, you heard it first here from Reni. Blue hair bad.
So I still see you've got Brian's face turned the wrong way.
Again, I need to give you a bit
Yeah,
of
it's
graphic for that.
it's for creative whatever. So yeah, Brian, you need to supply something with you looking that
I'll
way.
get something sorted out for you. A new
Did you draw that? Did you draw that?
That was a little cartoon I did of the real Mr. Young maybe a couple of years ago.
Is that Mr.
Wow.
Young then?
Yeah, well, kind of. Anyway,
But,
he's a bit more grey than that now and a bit thinner, so I'll have
Because
to update it.
because when Ian turns it around, it looks like he's having a stroke because
Does,
half the
doesn't it?
face goes down.
Yeah, you said that. The other night. Don't.
It's not my face.
Unfortunately,
I don't look like that. I
Yeah,
don't wear
I know,
glasses and I don't have a beard for a start.
cheers, MegaGeek. You can go off a person really quickly,
Oh well. End of that friendship then.
So on 40 minutes, we'll put all the depressing shit to one side because I'm sure it's going to run its course and there's going to be more of it in the coming weeks. So we had a new feature last week, which was called Not Brian Young Recommend. And we thought it was pretty popular, actually. So, my internet connection withstanding, Brian, what do you recommend?
Okay, now, we all know the lengths that Disney shills will go to get a free pass. Their morals, honour, and even their dignity will be happily compromised for a bit of a clout or a freebie. But these shallow people are nothing compared to the legend who is featured in this week's recommendation.
Which is?
In 1974, this gentleman was awarded a lifetime free pass to an observation deck doing something truly incredible, with no compromising of his values and winning the hearts of New Yorkers in the process. My recommendation for this week should be watched on the biggest screen you can find, preferably on 3D. I'm just coming to that.
Shall I get the graphic ready?
Hold it.
The graphic
I am,
is
of course,
ready.
talking about the spectacular Robert Zemeckis movie, The Walk, from 2015. It follows the incredible true story of Daredevil, Philippe Petit, as he attempts to walk on a tightrope between the north and south towers of the World Trade Center. The tale is essentially a heist movie, but told with a whimsical quality, making it feel slightly sort of surreal, despite the factual nature of the subject matter. On a more serious note, these days we remember the World Trade Center for a terrible, terrible reason. However, I like to think this movie serves to remind us of better times before that tragedy. And the final scene shows a sensitivity and respect that will move even the coldest of hearts. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the main role, with Sir Ben Kingsley co-starring, and I highly, highly recommend it.
Oh, the Mandarin.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Gandhi.
Gandhi, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Not the Mandarin.
And the Mandarin.
And the Mandarin.
The most
The fake
wasted
Mandarin.
character. The most wasted character in Marvel. Moving on.
Moving
My
on.
name is Gandhi. Kangaskir Gandhi. Yeah, him. Yeah. Great film.
Right, I'm going to look this up.
I
Sir
haven't
Brian?
seen it. I haven't seen it. Is it
It's
good, Brian?
I say it was a must-watch. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, I'll
So-
give it a shot.
Why did you choose this film then?
When you first told me I was to do recommendations on a weekly basis, I made a full list, and for some reason this one just stood out for me. If you haven't watched it, definitely give it a go.
Is Gordon playing a French
Actually, one,
dude?
two. Sorry, Ian?
Is Gordon playing a French dude?
He is indeed, but it's not
All right.
objectionable.
Would it be allowed today, though? would he be allowed to play a French dude today?
Probably not. That'd be deeply problematic.
He'd probably have to emigrate to France for at least 10 years, get a passport,
Citizenship.
speak the language, and eat a bucket full of snails before he could even go near the character.
Be a real Frenchman.
And obviously
trying to
smell of garlic.
Oh, Lord.
I'm trying to pick films that have probably been missed by a lot of folk to try and
I missed this one. I remember it being in the cinema. I remember it was it shown in 3D or something like that? It was something special.
I think
about
there was an
huge
IMAX
screen.
presentation as
Oh,
well.
that was
Yeah,
it.
it says at
IMAX,
the bottom corner. Yeah. 3D
So-
IMAX. I
Well
bet that was
done. Yeah.
amazing. I bet that was amazing.
And I didn't catch it in the end. So I do remember the Twin Towers being the first Spider-Man trailer.
They cut it
Remember
out,
that?
didn't they?
Yeah, they cut it. They took it out. Yeah, because of what happened to the Twin Towers. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
insensitive. But yeah, I mean, if you recommend it, I'll definitely see it.
It's a bit of a slow burn, Ian. It takes a little while
right.
to get going, but once it does, it's fabulous.
Is it a
Is
bit
it
of
on
a,
Amazon? Sorry, is it on Amazon?
I think you can rent it on Amazon for a mere
Okay,
£3.49. Not that I've done my research or anything.
right.
Is it a bit of a slow walk to the end?
Oh, groan.
I'm here all week.
Try the veal. Yeah. There you go.
Wah, 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 wah. So, Brian, you're saying the walk is recommended and everybody should check it out.
I think so.
Unless you got vertigo.
Yeah, unless if you've got vertigo. So if you've got vertigo, maybe avoid.
Oh, definitely. If I was doing that, I'd fall off. Definitely fall off.
Yeah, I might avoid this movie. I do have some issues with vertigo. So
if you look at the poster for a few seconds, and it's like,
it's like,
Yeah, imagine that in 4K ultra high def HDR.
Oh no,
3D.
Yeah, there's an HDR version of it. Sorry, Ultra HD version of it. It's actually just. I didn't see what actually happened. I didn't see whether he made it on it or not. But it's just spoiled that the photograph is going up. So, oh well.
Plus, for the full effect, you could put a big turbo fan in your face. Just for the full effect.
I might watch it I might watch it with my PSVR system on my head, and
God, can you imagine? Oh God!
Lay a line of rope across the lounge floor and stand on the rope with the VR system on my head and watch the film that way. You don't get these people that watch Jaws in like a pool, floating on little rubber rings.
Right,
Just for that bit of immersion, I think I might,
Did you hear somebody broke their arm by watching VR? We're playing a game and it was so realistic that they
not a porno movie.
Tried to get out of something and they smashed their arm on the table and had to be driven to hospital. So there you go.
My God!
Yeah,
not a porno movie.
It was. I think it was one of the first ones. The one where you're in the cage and the sharks are around you.
Oh, I've got that one.
Yeah, that one.
One of the demos.
I'm determined to deliver this joke. Not a porno movie. We got there in the end.
I knew that was coming, Brown. I knew it was coming.
Literally.
Again, this is getting very course.
Obviously, the MegaGeek doesn't like carry on, so we will.
No, I thought it was.
We will carry on and move on.
But he broke his arm and his leg. So there you go. Oh,
we will just. No. I'm just going to quickly mention this.
I haven't seen the trailer, isn't it? I haven't seen
the trailer dropped this week.
I bet
it looks like shit.
Oh no.
MegaGeek. MegaGeek. Not the point.
William Shatner. That's who it is.
Shut up. That's not the point.
The mask was his face.
Yeah,
the
it
original
was.
Mask.
Yep, it was.
Yeah.
Did anybody see the last one?
Yes, I did.
No.
And I'm taking a wild guess here, Ian. You thought it was shit.
No, I thought it was okay actually.
So
the thing is, though, you're just flogging a dead horse here. That if they should have ended it with that, but now he survived the fire and he comes out and all this rubbish. Because I saw the trailers, thinking, you're just dragging it out again because you want more films, you want more money, but there's no talent behind this. It's not original. It's stupid. You know what I mean? So it's just him going around stabbing people. We've seen it a million times before.
So I don't understand the premise of fighting an unkillable or unbeatable enemy over and over and over. That just never computes for me.
It's
so
like
I gave up.
The Terminator films, isn't it? It's like the Terminator films. You can't keep doing the same story all the time. Mm-hmm. You've got to stop. Otherwise, it just becomes a joke, it did become a joke in the end, didn't it? Because it was the same story. It was like, went back in time, corrected time, something from the future comes to kill you again and again and again. It's the same thing with this as well. It's the same thing.
Except I didn't like that they killed John Connor in 5 minutes.
Yeah, nobody liked
wasn't
that.
Right.
Nobody liked
that. I don't think anyone liked that, did they?
No. Yeah. In the chat on 50 Minutes, Captain Hipster Spock says, and this does work on many levels, carry on up the brown.
Kinky.
Moving on. I'm going to say I like Halloween.
The original, yeah.
I liked
Yes.
the original. I liked number 2.
Oh God, no.
Are you
I
talking about
didn't-
the one with the mask, the like possessed mask?
That was number 3. That was
okay.
garbage.
Oh, I like number 3. I thought that was really refreshing.
Season of the Witch.
Yeah, Season of the Witch. That's it.
I don't think I watched any of the, the kind of ones they've done over the years.
They're all
where-
rubbish.
Yeah, I don't think I've not been interested in any of them.
It's the
But
same thing.
When the last one, a couple of years ago, turned up as a genuine continuation from Halloween 2, ignoring the rest of it, I was interested. And I don't like slasher films, horror films, call them what you will. I went to the cinema to see this, and I was not disappointed. I know it's not, highbrow, whatever you want to call it. It's a Halloween film. And I liked it. So I'm genuinely looking forward to this one. But that's just me. Mr. Brown doing his best.
Has he disappeared?
Still
Stream killer.
fell flat on its ass. So, okay, let's see what's next then. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If you lot aren't, which it doesn't sound like you are, anyway, it's whatever floats your boat, as we always say, isn't it? So
I can't really see what it's going to offer over every single other one that we've received. It just repeats the formula over and over and over. You know?
Yes.
That's what it's doing.
Yeah. Pointless, really.
Without Donald Pleasance. That's it.
Yeah. Without half of the formula. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a shame that Donald Pleasance isn't in it, but obviously that's just impossible. So
Yeah, exactly. Bring back by CGI if they wanted to.
yeah, Doctor was it Doctor Loomis?
Yeah, he was Dr. Loomis. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's gone. The evil is gone. I remember that was number 2 when it just carried on straight from the first one when it opened, and it just carried straight on, and that was the first line he said. So there you go.
Well,
I
I will
remember
say
the
as a
second one.
teenage boy, and I think we've mentioned this before, Pamela Susan
What's
Shoop
this?
in Halloween 2. So enough said.
Which one is that one? Is she the
Halloween
nurse?
2. Yeah, she was the nurse in Halloween 2.
Oh,
yeah.
because she got killed in a lot of those movies, didn't she? She was in a lot of slasher
She
movies,
got
right?
boiled to death in that one.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he mistaken her for food, didn't he? That of a boiled nurse, please.
Yeah.
It's like taking a bath in a giant pot, and they just kept turning the dial up slightly.
yeah.
Nurse Soup.
Peacat in the chat says Donald Pleasance was the best part of the franchise. He was good. Yeah.
Yeah. He really
Don't
was.
leave me. Don't leave me.
Let me come with you.
I can see.
And
So
Peacat,
perfectly.
again, Peacat, I cannot disagree. Shoop was nice to look at.
I'll have to look at it.
I cannot disagree.
What are these then? Megaforce, The Thing,
Right.
Blade Runner, E.T. These all came out that year, didn't they? In the same year.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
swiped this off one of Maya Burnett's tweets, and he swiped it off somebody else. So I think it was Scott Mance who originally posted this. So cheers, Scott. 39 years ago to the day, yesterday.
Yep.
The Thing was released, and on the same day, and you can see it there, starts today.
Yeah, the 3 at the top was a flop, were all flops, and the 3 at the bottom were a huge success. That just goes to show, doesn't it? So there you go. So The Thing was a huge flop, Blade Runner was a huge flop, and Megaforce was abysmal and a huge flop. Annie was a huge success. Poltergeist was a even bigger success. And E.T. just was the biggest box office take at that moment in time. It's really funny how they actually put the the three that lost at the top and the ones that won at the bottom.
Mm.
I wonder if they did that deliberately.
I would say so.
Megaforce is a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah, it's terrible though, isn't it? Especially the costumes they're wearing. It's like disco costumes, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah, and he looks like Barry Gibb.
He does, yeah, a bit. Yeah.
Oh my.
They've got a flying motorbike in it.
Yes. I saw the making of Megaforce, and you should hear the way they were talking. They were talking like it was the next Star Wars, and then they showed clips of it, and you think, how could they not see this is so corny and so bad? It's terrible.
This came out at the exact age I was fully into Action Force / G.I. Joe for Reni.
All right, yeah.
And it was just huge in the UK. Action Force was crazy. It was kind of like a modern future army kind of toy line.
Yeah.
I was totally into it, man. Like G.I. Joe is kind of, it's the same thing. And it was like the G.I. Joe movie that was never G.I. Joe. It looked amazing. Like for an 11-year-old, I was kind of like, wow, look at these, like all these crazy jets and cars and things flying about. There's lasers and all sorts going on. Whoa, this is exactly what I want. Didn't care about the characters, didn't care about the story, the writing, anything. I just wanted the action and the cool vehicles, and it kind of did that. But this is what they should have done with the G.I. Joe movie, except with better writing, obviously, and based it on the actual characters. But it's got the right idea with like the future army and the future vehicles and the combat and the action, not this like CGI Michael Bay crap that they've tried to push into cinemas like for the previous years. They should look at Megaforce and go, that's the kind of thing that we need to make for G.I. Joe. Obviously, without the Bee Gees.
What's her name was in it from Star Trek, the motion picture, was she not?
I think so.
The girl with the ball head, but she's got hair in this.
Yes.
Paris Kambata.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Captain Hipster Spock says, I just came.
Oh, God.
Dear.
MC in the chat says, hail MC. The Thing, Blade Runner, and Poltergeist are great.
It's a shame, really, because Blade Runner obviously now is a classic movie. It's iconic movie, and The Thing is an iconic movie as well. And Megaforce isn't. So it's because I think The Thing and Blade Runner was well beyond their time. Because if you look at when I remember people were complaining about The Thing, they were saying that. It was too evil. It was too horrible because they were all comparing it to E.T. because E.T. was about a friendly alien, and Carpenter was introducing us to these horrible aliens, and the public didn't want to know.
Yeah, the fashion was the cuddly alien, wasn't it?
Yeah, at the time, yeah. So interesting.
Little did they know, though.
But
Brian,
the thing is creepy as hell, though. The Thing, when I saw it in the cinema, I thought it was very creepy.
The Thing was re-released briefly a few years ago, and I went to see it at the cinema. And I will say, other than the spider kind of crawling on the, kind of moving on the floor.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Yeah, that bit.
Yeah, 'cause it did look like it was on wheels.
Yeah, but it was good, though. It was a laugh.
But if you look at everything else in the film, on the kind of, the digital projector, the kind of modern projection, it looked fucking amazing. And I was not disappointed with the soundtrack as well.
Yeah.
The Ennio Morricone soundtrack.
Oh, my God, yeah. So good.
It did not disappoint. It's such a great film.
All right, you've made me think of that little head alien now, right? In a little wheelchair.
Yeah.
And you ruined that scene for me because it's now turned into a comedy.
But the thing is, though, a lot of people were turned off by The Thing when it was first released. A lot of people thought it was horrible, too horrible. I remember, right, when I think Brian spoke about this as well. When I was at school, I was in the sixth form when this film came out, and I had a friend named Ray that my dad knew and used to give us pirate videos, and one of them was The Thing. And I had a video club in my school after school, and we showed The Thing. We showed The Thing, right?
Wow.
I don't know, 16, 17.
Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Yeah.
And so we showed the thing, and there was this African guy named Tony Nwazu, and he had just and he had just gone to the school, right? And he was so excited to see the thing, and he was sitting in the front row. And when we played the thing and the first monster appeared, the dog tore apart and all this thing. He literally screamed and ran out of the room. Screamed his head off.
Been the same since. He's a cat owner.
And he just ran out the room. It was an incredible scream. He'd never seen anything like it in his life, and he was terrified. So there you go. That's my memory of the
I'm
thing.
still terrified now. In the chat, MC, this is a man who's taking one for the team. I saw Annie at the cinema. Too young for The Thing and Blade Runner. Well done, MC. That's taking one for the team. Well done, mate.
Yeah, you were desperate to see a film that weekend, weren't you, mate?
I saw Annie on TV. I never saw it in the cinema.
Yeah, I never
That
saw
version
it in
of
the
Annie.
cinema.
Yeah.
I saw it on VHS.
Did you? Yeah, I think I did as well. I think Poltergeist was a great movie as well. Poltergeist
Poltergeist is a great movie.
Poltergeist actually made me almost poo myself when I watched it. It was I think I was 11 or something when I saw that. My dad was like, no, he's fine, he's ready to watch it, don't worry about it. You know, it's a Spielberg film. And I sat and watched it, and it was a full uncut version on BBC One.
Oh,
At like 10 o'clock.
It's a great film.
It absolutely shat me up, and I didn't sleep for 2 days. 2 fucking days after that.
oh,
It was. I'll tell you what got me from that film. It was the guy. I think it was the camera technician when his face does the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
There's all little bits like that, isn't there, in that film? You know, the little sort of incidental things like that you kind of forget, but then they do stick in your mind, and they do. A lot. Yeah.
Yeah. This house is clean. Yeah. Remember that bit?
He was put her on screen for 2 hours was enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay out of the light, Caroline. Good stuff. Good
But I
stuff.
went and watched it again years later, and it was so tame. It's just a big sort of special effects ridden romp, isn't it? It's not it's not anywhere near as scary and creepy as you remember it when you're little.
Yeah, because it was just starting those kind of horrors, weren't they? They're kind of family horrors when you think about it. So
it was very much a big sort of a bombastic in-your-face experience rather than a slow kind of creeping dread kind of horror.
Yeah. Now, Spielberg made it the same time he was making E.T. as well. So
wasn't there something about this film whether it's like it didn't? He put his name to it, but he didn't direct it. Directed it, didn't he? I think.
No, it was. I can't remember who directed Poltergeist.
It was Tobe Hooper, wasn't it?
Toby Hooper. Yeah,
yes,
he directed it. Yeah, he directed it. Chainsaw Massacre guy. He directed it apparently. So, but do you remember that bit with the meat was on the table and all those maggots started coming out of it?
Yeah. My favorite bit was at the start though, when you don't know what's going on and you get all the chairs stacking in the kitchen.
That was Brian's dinner. That was.
Yeah.
How dare you?
The bit with the girl sliding across the floor for no reason.
Oh yeah.
They're building the extension and they've got the like the foundations outside that gets waterlogged and all that kind of thing. And the tree kind of looking really kind of creepy. That was the build-up, was the best part of that movie, I think.
The clown.
Yeah. Oh,
the toy clown.
Oh,
yeah.
That's why people are scared of clowns, right?
I don't like clowns.
Yeah. Not a fan.
Not a fan of clowns either.
Question. I think he's got family stuff.
Damn it.
He did send his apologies. Question for Reni.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm used to saying that at work.
I love it when she does that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh no! Stop it.
Shut up. If you had the choice of watching one of these films now, which one do you think you would go for?
Megaforce.
Definitely not Megaforce. Probably would be Blade Runner. I think it would be the most entertaining for me.
Charm's name is Gaff. I'd seen him around. What do you say, Matt?
I get pissed off my face and go and watch Megaforce.
yeah. You want to see those flares and those skin tight costumes.
But I think honestly, it depends on my mood, because like if I'm in a creepy mood or if it's near Halloween, of course I'm going to want to watch Poltergeist. It just really depends on my mood. And I'll be honest with you, this is not a very popular opinion. I don't really like E.T. It's a very sad movie.
Oh, I love E.T. My favorite movie of all time.
That's a stream killer there.
Manipulation by Spielberg yet again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a gorgeous film, incredibly directed, masterfully
set him off now.
Steven Spielberg. It's an incredible movie, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, it always makes me sad.
Felt really sad at the ending. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's fun.
But it's a bittersweet ending, isn't it? It's not sad.
Yeah.
It's a happy ending, but you are just rivering with tears. Your eyes all.
Well, and all the stuff they go through, like with all the biohazard team, I forget, all that stuff. When E.T. like almost dies, he turns like gray and like just looks so.
That's the worst bit, isn't it? I remember when I saw that in the 8, and he was lying there in that brook, and I was just, oh God, no, this is just
E.T. don't go.
Exactly.
I saw E.T.
Don't go.
I saw E.T. in a pirate video at a friend's house.
Yeah, we did.
Seen it since.
Yes.
It was about a 38th generation copy, so it's just like watching.
And you know what? I've got another story about that. So I had a pirate copy because Ray gave to my dad a pirate copy. We didn't even know what it was. And so we told the school we had E.T. and the teachers knew about it. And they were like, "You've got E.T." And I said, "Yeah, I want to show it. Can I show it?" And they said, "Yes." And they said, you can only show it if you can give me a copy. All the teachers said that. God. So I had to make 9 copies of E.T. before I could show it in school.
And that was on VHS, right?
Yeah, VHS.
Oh my God.
Well, we had the original copy on Betamax. And so we had to copy it onto VHS for the teachers. Yeah, for the teachers.
Wow.
So there you go.
I actually bought the ET storybook just from eBay a couple of weeks ago, believe it or not. Something I had as a kid, and I've managed to get a decent quality copy of it.
Wow.
Bring back a few memories.
It's so well directed. I mean, from the beginning where you don't see the scientists and you don't see the adults. It's just from halfway through the film, just from the kids' point of view. You know that guy's name is Keys because he has those keys jingling from his pockets. The frog scene with nobody speaking but music that carries that thing all the way through. There's genius moments in that film. Genius. It's just literally a genius, fantastic, brilliant movie, in my opinion.
So,
if Spotney's listening, can I just say, if Spotney's listening, Deckard is in the movie as well.
Yes, he is. Well, very briefly, very briefly. But,
so there's another string to the conspiracy right there.
Oh Lord.
So, MegaGeek, what you're saying is that what you would see if you had the choice to watch any of these films would be Megaforce.
Yeah, I'd love to watch Megaforce again because it was so awful. But again, it's a hard life for us, isn't it? So we could watch if we wanted to.
So, so genuinely, would it be E.T. for you?
No, I've seen E.T. so many times, and I love E.T. I would love to watch the original Blade Runner with the VO because I haven't seen that in years. I'd love to watch it with VO. Yeah. What
about you, Swapshop?
Oh God, that original Blade Runner cut, man. He's just saying that's got.
You'd rather watch that,
the gumshoe over voiceover. Just perfect for it. Oh God, Poltergeist. I haven't seen in so long. I'd probably like to revisit that. E.T. I just can't take the heartache again, like Reni. I just it's just gonna gut me if I watch it again.
Bless you.
Shut up. Then the Thing, I love The Thing, but the dog scene, I just hate animals getting anything happening to them. So that just it's like the thorn in the tire for me. It really annoys me. But the rest of the movie after that, perfection. Annie, never watched it. I would have probably exploded after reaching critical mass after hearing 2 of the songs. It was bad enough watching the advert for the film when it came out in the 80s. So and I knew this really annoying little red-haired girl back then as well. So it just didn't help. It made her
called Annie, was she?
It was a huge hit though, Annie. It was a bombastic hit.
Yeah.
And
her name was Leanne. Her name was Leanne, so it was close. But Yeah, it was a hit, but God,
Probably am Ginger.
The adverts and the songs. She was Ginger. The adverts and the songs, and it's just God. It was like the Water Babies. I hate that as well. God, I could kill whoever made that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you know, I've never seen Megaforce all the way through, so it's a bit of a it might take it. Megaforce might take it.
But you know, McCready, he killed a human in that film, didn't he?
I can't remember. You're probably right. I can't remember.
He did, because you remember this guy rushed towards him and he shot him in the head.
Yeah.
And they tested his blood and he was human.
Yeah.
So McCready killed a human.
That makes you a murderer. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But that just adds so much to it, doesn't it? The fact that the desperation of the moment, that you know that anything could happen, literally anything, and anyone would play a game in that film. So yeah, brilliant, genius.
It's a good movie.
What was the name of the was it Wilfred?
Oh yeah, he got his hand.
Bramble?
Yeah.
I think he was in his mid-40s when he filmed
He looked
that.
older. He looked older.
Yeah, can you believe it?
He was in Cocoon as well. He was in the Cocoon.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah. I remember he was explaining to them, he was going, see, this thing here is a human being. That's a dog. You see, they meld in one another. And he was going on about it, wasn't he? That scene where you see all the faces all melt. And that was a creepy scene as well, wasn't it? That was so creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, those effects were just, wow.
They were.
I will just say the magic of Rob Bottin.
Yes, absolutely was, yeah.
Yeah.
A guy who was 20 years ahead of his time.
Absolutely. If you've seen interviews with him, man, his guy's just, you can tell he's a genius, that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, he did RoboCop as well. So,
So who can name the guy that survived with McCready at the ending?
Childs.
Hey, I thought I caught you out there, but you guys are on the ball, aren't you?
I will say I do not own many DVDs, but The Thing is one of them. I think it was going for $5, and I just thought, I can't turn that down.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen Pingo? Pingo, was it Pingu? The Thing?
Yes.
Pingu.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's funny.
Oh God, that's so good. Yeah, the Pingu spoof, amazing.
Yeah, it's very funny. Yeah.
Brian,
Anyway.
which would you choose?
I've kind of already chosen. I don't want to make anyone jealous here, but next month, Blade Runner has been re-released in my local cinema.
Excellent.
And I got my tickets last night, which is kind of funny because
which version?
I think it's the original one. I'm not 100% sure.
God.
The voiceover.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, but due to Cockney's influence. Sorry?
Wow.
I was just doing my best to kill the stream. MC
no
in the chat, before you continue, says
Thingu. That's it.
Thingu,
Yeah.
Thingu.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun.
Everybody should check out Thingu, by the way. If it's on YouTube, just go, YouTube Thingu. Hopefully it'll be on there.
Yeah.
Well, a new life awaits us in the off-world colonies. Yeah. A chance to begin again in a golden land of opportunity and adventure. So yeah, Brian, I would love to see that version.
This is what that always reminds me of. That Sean Connery movie, is it Outland?
Yeah.
A great film.
Yeah,
that's apparently part of the alien world. A part of apparently.
Okay.
What? Really?
Yeah, because that's the same set designs in it. It's basically the same film. Universe. Apparently, they say.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
Awesome.
Brian was going to say something before we interrupted him. He didn't quite.
Yeah, Brian. Sorry, we interrupted you. We do apologise. So you're going to see Blade Runner at the local.
No, it's just due to Cockney's influence and asking me a couple of questions that during midweek. I watched Blade Runner 2049 this week, and I watched the final cut as well.
And 2049 thoughts.
I've got a stream that I spoke to Cockney about the other night. I'm all 2049'd out.
I think we all are, to be fair, but
yeah, it was all right. It wasn't anything like as good as the original, clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's taken us 1 hour 15 of rambling to get to this point. So if I may just
Junior
read my blurb and then we'll get into it. So Last Crusade, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, USA, 1989, Lucasfilm. Last Crusade is set in 1938, directed by Steven Spielberg, screenplay Jeffrey Boehm, story by George Lucas, Menno Meyes. I do apologize if I've got the pronunciation incorrect. Starring Harrison Ford, Denholm Elliott, Alison Doody or Doddy, John Rhys Davis, Julian Glover, River Phoenix, and the magnificent Sean Connery. Introducing the music of John Williams. Box office. The production budget was 48 million. So obviously the films have gone up by a few million each time. Obviously this is the third in the series. So on a budget of $48 million, the worldwide was 474.3 million, which ain't too bad. So who would like to start? So Reni, do you want to start? So
Sure.
I do believe you like this one.
Yeah, I kind of like this one. Actually, it's my favorite. I really enjoy the dynamic between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery as father and son. I feel like it really works. It's got a lot of humor. It's got a lot of heart. If you're religious, it's got some stuff for you. But if you're not, it's also semi-sacrilegious. So, it's not offensive, too offensive either way. I really enjoyed there's a little bit of a supernatural element to it at the end when, they find the knight and all that. But I didn't find that to be too awful, unlike Crystal Skull. But I absolutely love that one. I think it's great. It's just got a lot of great things that make it a great movie. It's very entertaining for me. I just rewatched it last week and I'm like, okay, I really do love this movie. And one of my favorite scenes is whenever they're on the Zeppelin and like the guy gets like thrown off or whatever. And they're like, no ticket. And everybody's like trying to find the ticket. And it kills me every time because it's so funny. They're like, oh crap. But yeah, I really, really, I don't know. It's my favorite and it's just a really good movie for me. Always a feel good movie.
Did you say, I think you previously said you like this one mainly for kind of family reasons as well?
That as well. Like my mom was a big Sean Connery fan. Well, she still is, even though he's gone, but like she always had a huge crush on Sean Connery. And, I also grew up on Sean Connery as James Bond, but Roger Moore is my favorite. And a couple other things with him in it that my mom really liked. So, having both actors in the same film, and I will be honest, when I was younger, I had a small little crush on River Phoenix, so I liked that he was in the movie at the beginning.
Yeah.
When I was younger, but yeah, all around great film for me.
I will just say, PCAT in the chats, Connery made the wisest of wise choices doing this instead of Star Trek 5.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Shakari.
Sean Connery. It's true.
Star Trek 5 was horrible for me.
That's why he's called that name, because it's meant to be Sean Connery that's supposed to play him. That's why he's called Shakari. Yes. Sean Connery. Yeah. Yep.
Swap Shop, do you like this film?
My favourite of the trilogy, just like the Star Wars trilogy, the third one is the one that resonates best with me. I had this poster on my bedroom wall for a year after the film came out. It was a fold-out magazine, and it folded out into this particular poster. And I had it on my wall along with Back to the Future 3 as well, and Back to the Future 2, all like Drew Struzan Peters, which are just beautiful. But the adventure in this movie is incredible because the Nazis are back, which is just the nemesis of the franchise. And the actors portraying them are just perfection yet again. They got it right in the first movie, and they've really got it right in this film as well. the set pieces with, you know, the one that springs to mind where he's riding on the side of the tank and trying to stop the tank.
Yeah, it's a good set piece.
And he's and you got the whole thing with the tank flies over the cliff and everything, and you've got those little incidental comedic moments where they're all sort of standing there staring over the edge, thinking like, oh no, Indy's dead, and then he just like steps up next to his dad and he's looking over at the same time, and then, you know, then they sort of look at him and then look back down at the tank again.
I love that scene too.
Yeah, and the humor's so perfectly placed, and it's never overdone, it's never forced. It's kind of, it makes sense as well. And the man, it pulls at the heartstrings as well with the family element, you know, especially when Senior gets shot, and Indy has to sort of run the gamut in the temple and trying to avoid all the mistakes everyone else made previously. Man, there was some rough deaths in that film. People just getting beheaded and all the, you know, gore and stuff. Man, that was like when movies like that were great, and now Disney's got hold of it. We're never going to see anything like that again, I don't think. But I love the way the temple was planned out, all the traps and the you know, that's kind of a staple of Indiana Jones, isn't it? With like traps and pitfalls and things.
It is.
Yeah.
And they did it so perfectly. And you got the artifact hunt kind of part to the story when they're in Paris and they're in the underground and going through the sewers, and there's rats everywhere and stuff. And I love the bit in the library as well when they figure out where they've got to break through to get into the underworld, and they're kind of, and Indy's like hitting the ground with that post,
and the guy with the stamper thinks it's
him. Exactly, the librarian
so
stamping the thing. Just, oh man, there's just so many great. I'm a writer, I'm an amateur writer, but often I think of things like this and I just think, man, how do you come up with stuff like that? It's just genius, you know. I've got to try and get some humor like that in my story. How can I do it? And it amazes me how people can come up with something so perfect like that. And there were great other set pieces as well. Man, this film's rammed with them. The bit where they're fighting on the boats on the river, and they got the big propeller spinning in the background, and the boat's getting closer and closer and closer. You're like, oh, geez, it's so great. And the boat gets chopped up and stuff. You can see why this movie. I mean, however much money it cost at the time, you can see where the money went in this film.
That guy was from Mind Your Language, wasn't he?
He was.
That guy was from Mind Your Language. Who was fighting Indy on the boat.
It was.
Ah, really? I didn't know that. I have to go back and watch it again. That's amazing.
When you said artifact hunt, I was thinking Cockney rhyming slang.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say, Matthew, I truly do enjoy you coming on these streams, because when you're into something, I don't know about you folks, you can hear the joy in your voice.
Absolutely.
And it makes doing stuff like this worthwhile, because I can just hear the joy, and it's great. So,
it's because I'm a big kid. I'll never stop being that child ever. But everyone else had grown up, had kids, got old, and been boring, had mortgages. I mean, nope, not me. Nope, I'm still in comics. I'm still into movies. I'm still into games. I'm still into toys. I'll never let it go. I can't. It's part of my DNA. I will never let it go. I will always want to hold on to things that make me excited and remind me of adventure and the good times and just being happy and escapism. That's why we love these things. Yeah. Why would we ever leave anything like that behind and say, oh, I don't need that anymore. I'm an adult now. I don't need any of that escapism. That's all childish. Like, screw that, man. That's like denying the greatness that made your life what it was as you were being brought up. Why would you abandon that ever? You know?
I love that you said that.
In the chat, Matt, do you want to read that? Can you see that?
Did Swapswap say fact? Oh God, Mark.
Oh, MC. Oh dear. You and I really do think alike, mate.
Oh, why do I hear that before? That's great. I love that. That's a joke.
In the chat, again, MC, as we always say, the wingman of the channel. Swapswap has so much passion for the things he loves. That's what I like about him.
Ha!
I love you, boy.
Oh Lord.
Brian, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, thoughts?
Well, I did my homework this week for a change.
How many
Here we go.
pages?
Here we go.
How many pages?
25. Front
Holy
and back.
smokes.
This could be a long one, folks.
No, it is not. It is
Put
not.
the kettle on. Here we go.
I realised actually this is the first time I've watched it from start to finish as an adult. I suspected it might have been a bit crap, but I actually really, really enjoyed it. I forgot how good, I think Reni touched upon this, I forgot how good Ford and Connery worked together on this. They've got some
It was good
cracking
chemistry,
lines all the way through it.
you, Junior.
Junior. Yes.
It reminded me of, one of Bob Hope's earlier movies. The kind of
You mean The Road
classics.
2?
I'm thinking, is it not Ghostbusters? God, I can't remember.
That one.
You know the one I mean?
Yeah, I know the one you mean. I
It's
can't
got
remember
that kind of
what it's called,
adventure and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's that same kind of thing.
Well,
The
he
old
did-
rats.
The Road 2, didn't he, with Bing Crosby? They were a trilogy of films, weren't they? You guys
I
don't
can't
know the Road
remember.
2 movies? No?
I can't remember the name, but I watched them like in
We're
BBC
not
Two
as
when I
old
was a
as you,
kid.
man.
Loads of these sort of things. It reminded me of that.
I didn't watch it when it first came out, mate. It was repeats on BBC Two.
All right, mate.
I'm not that old, pal. There we go.
Could have fooled me. Go on, Brian. Carry on.
It's campy, it's corny,
I
it's
love you,
silly,
Ian, don't
but it's
forget that.
great fun, even as an adult. And I liked a lot of the kind of attention to detail they put in a lot of the scenes, same as like Demon had mentioned. It's maybe not the best of the four, but it's still a great movie in my book.
Best of the four, best of the three, pal. The fourth one is not included.
Yeah, how
Best
dare
of
you?
the five.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Hello, Cruel. Any more notes?
Several. Wait till later on until you get through the scenes.
Ooh, well done, mate. Right, so he's chomping at the bit, everybody. Here we go. Here he comes, the Mega Geek himself with his opinion. Go, Ian.
What do I think? Sorry, I was looking at something else. What do I think of Indiana Jones? Last Crusade. I loved it. It's a brilliant movie from start to finish. And did you realize that Sean Connery was not meant to be all the way through this film? So when his part was written, he was only meant to be in the first, or is it the second half of the film, or the first half of the film? And when Connery was involved, Connery was like, well, my part's got to be bigger. So they made his part bigger and made Connery, because it was Indiana Jones and the woman mostly, but when Connery signed on a dotted line, they wrote more, and so he became the second lead to Harrison Ford's character, which is interesting when you think about it.
I will just say again from the Mega Geek, top trivia.
Yeah, it's trivia that anyone can read, really. Let's face it. But it's really funny because he's not. Harrison Ford is. I think Sean Connery's how many years older than him? There's no way
I think it
Sean
was
Connery
9,
could be his dad.
right?
Yeah, no way, unless he had a child when he was a kid or something like that. But yeah, it's interesting, and the dynamic worked very, very well between them both. And you can see that Connery said he did this film because he wanted to work with Spielberg, and it was for him, it was one of the greatest films he'd ever been involved in. That's according to Sean Connery. And it was a joy. He was saying it was a joy to work with Harrison Ford and Steven Spielberg. He loved every moment of it. So, that's an endorsement if I ever heard one.
Do you think there was something, when things just come together and it kind of evolves into something, I'd probably say magical?
Mm-hmm.
It's another happy accident, because Connery wasn't interested in the first place when I asked him, and because everybody said, look, who's the best to be Indiana Jones's dad? James Bond. It's got to be James Bond. So they went for Connery, and Connery said no originally, and then they kept at him, and then
because he was doing Star Trek 5.
No, he wasn't going to do that. But I mean, there's all those wonderful moments in it, as Matt points out, you know, with everything in this film, from the pen is mightier than the sword. They actually turned Damon Elliott's character into a bit of a buffoon, really, because in the first one he was quite astute, and in this one he was very, very clumsy and so,
the great
I
Denham
noticed that
Elliott.
too. I thought it was just me. Okay.
No, but it was all done for the comedy aspect of the thing. And also, they knew that this one was going to be the last one, so they wanted all the ones that were
so they thought.
Yeah, in Raiders of the Lost Ark to be in this one to have a proper goodbye. Yeah. And it was a proper goodbye. And nobody, I mean, the way it starts is absolutely fantastic with the shot of the I can't remember, it was a rock face, and it turned into the Paramount sign. It turned into rock face, and River Phoenix playing him when he was young. And River Phoenix really did learn how to be Harrison Ford. The way he ran like Harrison Ford. The way he spoke like Harrison Ford, because Harrison Ford was on the set showing him how he would do it, and then he would imitate Harrison Ford. And so my favorite scene of this sequence is when the guy puts the hat on his head and he said, "You have heart, kid." And he puts the hat on his head and he pulls it down, and then it comes up, and he's Indiana Jones. And I was like, this is great, you know?
That's an awesome scene.
I mean, that
it's an awesome edit, and it's done by a master of direction, which is Steven Spielberg. You know, no one could have made that scene work like Spielberg. It was absolutely terrific. The stuff on the train, and he falls into the snakes. That's why he's scared of snakes. He has the whip, and he whips the tiger. That's how he got used to the whip, you know. And it's just, it's a
how he got a scar on his chin.
That's because of Harrison Ford, I guess. Yeah. But it, you know, I mean, it belongs in a museum. There's classic lines in there. And I remember Matt said the bit where the tank goes over the cliff. The bit that I laughed at the most is when he kind of hugs him, Connery, and he says, "Right, let's go." And he drops to the floor, and he says, "What are you doing there? You know, we've got work to do." And he's just sitting there, and then his hat comes in to shot. It's like somebody
like that. That was really cool.
I thought that was so funny in the cinema. I killed myself laughing. I thought that was just one of the funniest things I've ever seen, because he had to have his hat back, because his hat blew off, didn't it? Before the tank fell off.
Yeah, and it blew back.
And it blew back to him, which I thought
and
was
the
really
theme
cool.
plays just as the hat rolls towards him. Nice little touches like that.
It was perfect.
It is. It's one of those movies that I can watch again and again and again. I love the tank chase with the horse and the, you know, and he's hanging on his I think what did you call it? A satchel. He was just hanging off it, wasn't he? That satchel's strong, isn't it? That's incredibly strong.
With him the whole time. You know, forget the whip and the hat and everything. He's had that satchel the whole time as well. So that was kind of like that. It saved his life, just like other things did. You know, it's like he owes so much to his own artifacts.
Made of real leather. That was.
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant film from start to finish, and you know, the ending just made me feel sad, because when they rode into the sunset, I felt sad because I knew that was the last one.
Yeah.
But they were never going to come back.
We just wanted more.
So you thought.
Well, the thing is, they didn't come back in my head canon. That was the last one.
Head canon. MC in the chat says handbag.
It's a handbag. It's not a handbag. It's an Indiana Jones satchel.
Man bag.
Haven't you ever seen The Hangover? He's like, no, it's not a purse, it's a satchel. Indiana Jones wore one.
Because it's really funny, because that scene there, you thought he was
who is the guy?
Indiana Jones's dad or something like that, didn't you?
He based his look, didn't he, off this guy?
Yeah,
so
he did.
Makes sense.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah. Belongs in a museum.
There was another great scene that I missed out as well. I'm just going to get in there before Reni is, because I've got a feeling she's going to say it. So I'm going to get in there before. It's when they're both on the motorbike and sidecar.
Oh, brilliant!
Amazing chase sequence. Amazing chase sequence. And the way
they're tied to the chairs. Do you remember that bit? When they're tied to the chairs. That's a great scene as well.
Great. Yeah.
And then they found out they both slept with the same chick.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh my God! So many great little bits like that. But the bit where he dispatches the German motorcyclist by shoving a piece of wood in the front wheel, and it kind of like shoots through the air and spirals over and kills the guy. And then he's like really chuffed and really pleased with himself, and he kind of looks at his dad, and his dad just looks really disapprovingly at him, and he goes, "Screw you, then, Dad." You know, that look on his face. Oh, perfection.
But the one thing I really like is the screenplay, because they do a lot of shortcuts. So when he says, "How do you know?" and he says, "She talks in her sleep,"
Yes.
You know, and that just says it all, doesn't it? That one line says
Yeah.
that he slept with her. You know, he didn't have to say I slept with her. He just said she
Brilliant
talked in her
writing.
sleep.
Yeah.
So it's really brilliant writing.
The artifact, you know, the cross that you see on screen there was the cross that Madonna is seen wearing in the Like a Prayer video.
Thought it looked familiar.
Oh, really?
Moving on. That was a joke, by the way. That was a bad one.
No, it's this point.
Rennie
I was
fell
gonna
for that
say,
one.
I don't remember it being that big, and I used to be a big Madonna fan, sadly to say.
Madonna's a
You-
midget.
Yeah. Well, she looks like a troll now, but yeah. Like the troll under the bridge.
What's that line that makes me
Girlfriend?
laugh well in this film? There's a line that makes me laugh in this film was when Dem and Elliot arrives in the station and these people are trying to sell him stuff.
Speaking
And they
of
try
dog.
to sell him fish. And he said, I can't remember the line he says, but it made me laugh. Fish. He says, "Oh no, I don't drink that kind of water." Fish.
Oh, yeah, 'cause he didn't understand them.
Yeah.
Because the
I can't
scene
remember
before, he was like, "Oh, he's a master of languages." Blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah,
And you're talking
yeah,
about,
that's
no, I don't
hilarious.
drink fish water.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, fish make love in it. That's what he
Yeah,
says. I
that's
don't drink
it.
that water. Fish makes love in it. And I thought it was hilarious when I saw it in the cinema. And it was very funny. But there you go.
I didn't get chance to do my homework for the film, so I've not seen the film. So I kind of trolled through all the pictures on Internet Movie Database. I've got a selection of pictures. I've tried to mix up again video and the black and white prints they used to do. I think I've got the film covered last time because I think last time I kind of missed a few off the end. So I think I've got them in the right order as well. So we'll go through the pictures and MegaGeek, if you can help me out with what's going on, I'd appreciate it.
This is the
Because
bit where they
Brad,
say,
just to clarify, you haven't actually seen the film.
I haven't done my homework. I was going to try and watch it this week. I have seen the film because I had the pleasure of going to see. It was the only Indiana Jones film that I actually got to see at the cinema.
I see. I've seen it. That's all right.
Yeah, because the earlier films, I was probably too young to kind of go into leads. It was a bit of a, but yeah, towards the end of the 80s. Yeah.
So this bit is a bit that actually connects with the script as well, which I thought was quite clever. Because in the very beginning, when he's teaching the class, he says, "X never ever marks the spot," and in this scene. They were going, looking at the numbers, and then he sees the X on the ground. And he says, "X marks the spot," which is really clever piece of writing, which I thought was quite clever. But this scene they were trying to find out where the entrance was to the catacombs, and it was under the library. They discovered it was under the library. So that's that scene. Obviously.
How did Indy meet up with the girl then? Where did she come from?
But she was she was an expert on something, and they expecting a man, but she turns up. She's
it was just Dr. Schneider.
Yeah. And obviously Dem and Elliot is trying to interrupt them because you can see they like each other from the very first moment they start talking to each other. Indiana Jones and her, in it. So yeah. So there you go. Well, I'm from South London. What can I say? In it, you know. But yeah,
it's
a good scene.
John Boyega. You said he's from your neck of the woods as well, didn't he?
Yep. I've seen him loads of times.
Well,
really?
Before he was famous. Yeah, before he was famous. Yeah. I know people that know him. I never spoke to him, but I've seen him loads of times around my estate and stuff. So
that's really cool.
Well, it's not that cool if you haven't spoken to him and I don't know him and he's a big star. So there you go.
I will say, just kind of going back on that quickly, it's going to be interesting to see where that story goes. So
it is, yeah.
You know, he's going to eventually open his mouth. He can't stay quiet forever.
No, with a megaphone.
Exactly.
He's going to open his mouth with a megaphone, like he did last time. Yeah. Still, though, God bless him. He's great.
I am hoping this is towards the beginning of the film somewhere.
It is.
Kind of, yeah.
So
in the old days, they do rub-ins, didn't they, with the paper? They used to do rub-ins with the paper. So they used to get a a crayon and put down a what is it? Trace
Parchment
sheet.
paper?
Yeah, and they used to rub the inscription, which was on something, and they used to get an image of what was.
You had to rub it hard.
Is this turning into Carry On again? So yeah, so that's what they used to do in the old days. Obviously now you can just take a picture of it. So, but yeah, they used to do that. So there you go.
Yeah, if you take a picture, it lasts longer, doesn't it?
That's right.
I love in this scene when they find the rats and he's like, my dad wouldn't have made it. He hates rats.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like snakes is Indiana's thing and rats is his dad's thing. So I thought that was cute.
Yeah, that line when he says, "There are rats, Dad."
And then he's like, oh.
Big ones. Yeah, that's a great line.
Yeah.
So this is where they meet for the first time, and they obviously instantly fancy each other.
This is Venice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's real Venice, but when they have the boat chases in England, in the Thames.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I was like,
Spoiling
is
the
that
magic.
legit?
That is
Because
cool.
you get, if you look closely, Matt, you can see the weather is dull when they're in England.
There you go.
And then
then.
when they finish the chase and they come off the jetty, you can see it's all sunny because they're back in.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
was just going to say the color of the water is probably different, but
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
If you look closely, that too. Yeah. So it's as I said, I love this film. This film is so good, so good.
She was lovely, wasn't she? I remember falling in love with her. Oh, Jesus.
Alison Doody.
Yeah.
Wasn't she
Yeah.
Irish?
Yes,
No,
I think she was. Yeah, she's got an unfortunate surname though.
Doody.
Yeah.
Doody Woody.
Doody. What a name.
Reni knows what I'm talking about. I don't think you guys do, but she knows.
Like poop, Judy.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't care what if she
doesn't
if
care,
she wanted
folks.
to be my friend. I couldn't care less what her name was.
She was very
Yeah.
young, apparently, wasn't she? Was she?
Yes,
in
she was
her
very
early
young.
20s?
20s.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
And Ford was what, in his 40s, I want to say?
Yeah.
Dirty old man.
When she starts sucking his ear and he goes, "Ah,
sorry?
Venice." Do you remember that bit?
Yes.
Do you remember that bit, Matt? When she starts
Yeah.
sucking his ear,
Oh God, don't. Yeah, I
he
do.
goes, "Ah, Venice," and she pulls him out of frame.
Yeah.
Brilliant scene.
Brian, do you remember that?
I was slightly distracted there with all the filthy talk that's been going on here.
Disgusting, isn't it? Disgusting.
But it's not actually happened in the film. So there you go.
We're
So,
talking about a film and he's just going off on one, yes.
I'm not.
Was this a carry-on film?
Didn't
Oh,
I
Lord.
tell you not to trust anyone, Dr. Jones? He was good in it as well. Julian
Oh,
Glover.
yeah.
He was brilliant.
Yeah.
Julian Glover was amazing.
His American accent was a bit hokey, but he was really good in it.
I
Yeah,
love
you
the
could
fact-
hear him slip a little bit.
Wet.
She is again. Oh my God! I love the way that she was kind of pushed as the love interest, and we all think, "Oh, this is going to be the next." You know, this is the new
Yeah.
Indigo. You know,
The new Phoebe Waller-Bridge, yeah?
yeah, and you just think, "Oh, so this is the
Dream Club.
romance. This is our romantic interest for the film." But then, cleverly, later on, we find out she was just playing them all along, and she didn't care about any of them at all. It was all of that.
Typical woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like when Connery broke that thing over his son's head. And he goes, "It's a fake." Do you remember that scene? He breaks the thing because Ming
It was
Dynasty.
very good, though. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
And I
that.
will
was great.
say on the typical woman comment, Reni disappeared.
She'll be back. She's got bad connection. She'll be
Gone
back.
down of the room. Oh.
Yeah.
I will
this
say
is-
I am hoping that wasn't genuine disgust. Please, Reni, I didn't mean it. I was just being facetious. I was just being
yeah.
horrible. I was just being
Toxic
horrible.
males living up to the reputation. That's all. That scene, what you said that.
Come back, Reni.
That scene you said when they're strapped to the chairs and they're trying,
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
in the fireplace, and the fireplace is turning around. It's like then
Yeah.
there's a massive inferno on the other side, and then
Yeah.
they're like trying to fly out the fire. Then suddenly, like there's a massive inferno there. You know? Oh.
Yeah, it's a great scene. He says, "Our Venice there," doesn't he, when he comes out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the bit when he just falls down the steps as well, because the steps all lower, don't they, into the ground, and he just falls all the way down backwards into the steps.
Yeah, it's as I say, it's a good film. And then when they were searching the place, so where's your dad? And he goes, "He's in this room. How do you know?" And he points up because it's wired. Do you remember that scene? That the wires on the room that
Yeah.
Sean Connery was in. So he had to swing and smash through the window to try and get to him.
Oh my god, so good.
MC in the chat says moist.
Okay.
Pcat says she is a specimen of the highest order.
Well, she was moist. Yeah, she was. Yeah.
And the secret of comedy is
Moistness.
Timing.
There
Man,
you
I
go.
wasn't kidding when I told you guys my internet sucks. I'm so sorry.
I thought I'd pissed you off then.
Oh no,
Well,
never. I don't get offended that
your
easily.
internet sucks just like Indy 5 and 4. So
And you guys know, I kind of put myself through torture after I was done watching Last Crusade last week. I was like, okay, I'm gonna rewatch the 4th and see if it was that bad. Yeah, and it's that bad.
No.
It has some good parts to it, but
Yeah, it
then
does.
it's like, oh man, really, aliens? Like seriously?
Mhm.
So
yeah. As I said, right, all the scenes in this film, barring a few, were really, really, really good, and I loved all of it. I loved the bit where they had that false perspective bridge, you know,
Yeah.
and what's his name? Sean Connery says, "You have to have faith, son." You know, it's a leap of faith.
Yeah, that's
Remember
good.
oh
that?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really, really good scene. Bad effects, but it was a good scene.
Going back to what I said last week, the first Raiders of the Lost Ark had so many iconic scenes.
Mm.
And then I said last week Temple of Doom still had iconic scenes, but not as many.
Mm.
This film seems to kind of get a lot more iconic scenes back.
Ran with them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's new ones.
Yeah, literally, I could have put another 20 photographs up. That many.
All three of them have iconic scenes. That's how good the films were.
Yeah.
You'll never get the likes of this film, these kind of films, ever again.
No. This is why we kept going back, isn't it, for these films? Because we knew those iconic scenes were going to be there.
Yeah.
And when they happened, you knew that was it. You know, you got that huge buzz, and it's like, yes, that's what they were paid the admission for.
Like I just can't think of anything about this movie I really just don't like.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I didn't like was near the end when Indy picked up the Grail and left that room and then left the knight behind. I was like, hang on a minute, that's a bit rude. The guy's been locked in for like millennia.
No. Well, no. The thing is, he couldn't pass the seal because he was so old. If he passed the seal, he would have died. So he would have rather die protecting the stuff in there than to come out and pass the seal and die because he was so old. That was the price of immortality. How do you pronounce that word?
Immortality.
That's the one. Easy for you to say. But yeah, so that was the price, wasn't it, to stay beyond the seal?
Yeah, but he could have come out a little bit into the.
He did. He waved to them when the whole place was falling apart.
Yeah.
He waved to them. Yeah,
the place was falling apart, and that was it. It was like, well, it's been a good life.
Well, he didn't have a life, did he? He was trapped. He was trapped beyond the seal. He was there to protect the Holy Grail, and that was his job.
I did think it was sad when he asked him to kill him. He's like, "Here you go, vanquish me." I'm like, "Oh my god, no, don't kill him."
Yeah. I just felt good. I wish that it could have been a happier ending for that guy because he lived his life doing what he thought was the best thing to do. But Brown,
maybe he chose poorly.
He did. It was unhappy. It was a unhappy finish.
Yeah.
And Indiana Jones chose wisely. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's why he's got a smile on his face.
That's my only criticism of it, really. I would have liked happy ending for that guy as well. You know.
As I said, it all made sense to me. You know, Elsa was greedy, you know, because when he was saving her, she wanted to get the Grail and her fingers were just touching it. And because of her greed, she died. And Indiana Jones wanted the same thing. And his father brought his senses back by calling him Indiana.
Yeah.
And then his senses came back, just let it go, Indiana. And he pulls him up. Yeah, it's a brilliant script. It's a really boy's own you know, adventure script. It's really terrific.
There's great shades of Star Wars in there, isn't there? Though of like there's character failings, and this is why they died chasing the wrong thing, etc. And very moralistic and portent to people's lives. It's kind of like don't go chasing vices and don't go chasing things that you shouldn't covets like what riches and things like that. You know, it will lead you down a dark path, and eventually it does for her. She ends up getting killed. Just falls into the crevice, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Well, and you make a good point about the reflection with Star Wars, and you also had the estranged father and son. So that was kind of good.
But it's about, at the end of the day, it was about family, and the family was Salah, Indiana Jones, what is it?
Marcus,
character Marcus, and his dad, and that was the family. That was the family, and right at the very ending, you know, the family triumphed because of love and faith.
Yeah, and they were just putting it together, weren't they? You know, they did their bit. Yeah.
I love the. Sorry, just one more thing. I love the bit where
famous last words. Just one more thing.
Where Indiana Jones is on the tank and he says, "Salah, get Dad." And as Salah's riding the horse, he takes his hat off and he goes, "Hello, Indy." That was just so stupid, but it was so funny.
Yeah,
it was so funny.
Yeah. Again, another little bit on the beach when the
birds.
With the dive bomber guys coming in to like kill them, isn't he, in the plane? And,
and he chases them with the umbrella.
Yeah. He sort of walks back, spinning the umbrella around, doesn't he? Like looking really chuffed with himself. I thought,
do you remember that, Matt? Do you remember the trailer? And what I always took away from the trailer before I saw the film was the bit where he goes, "They're shooting at us," and he goes, "I know, Dad," and he goes, "It's a new experience for me." And he goes, "It happens to me all the time," and that's how the trailer ended.
That's the bit when he shoots the tail off the plane, isn't it? When he's like,
they got us.
Yeah.
They got us. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
What is it? The tagline was, "He's back and he's bringing his dad." That was the tagline. It's a brilliant tagline.
Brian, are we off to the pub and leave these three to it?
Football and pub.
Yeah.
No. This just really does, like chatting with you guys about this, it really does take me back to when I was like 14. And
bless you.
You come out of the cinema and you've got your mates with you or your parents or whatever, and you're in the car on the way home saying, "Oh, what about this bit? And what about that bit? Oh, what about that?" When do we have that anymore? You know, when do we ever get these days, you know?
We don't.
I will say you don't get joy like this on Friday Night Tights.
You get a lot of criticism and a lot of cynicism on that show.
Yeah.
A lot of misery.
Ian, do you think, going back to what you said about the script, do you think third time's a charm on this film?
No, it's not, right? The reason why these three films, and I say the three films, including Temple of Doom, was so great, and I don't use that word lightly, is because of the talent of Steven Spielberg and his leadership, and George Lucas to a certain extent. Because Steven Spielberg was the driving force of Indiana Jones. Yeah. He the way he directs films is masterful. And I don't say that lightly either. He's probably beyond Hitchcock. He's probably one of the most artistic, most brilliant, fantastic, I don't know how many words I can mention, directors in the entire world. Because he found a way, right, to make entertainment that spoke to families and families around the world. Anything he made, it was aimed at families, whether it be scary, whether it be historical, or whether it be adventurous like Indiana Jones. So, as I said, you look at Close Encounters, about families. Poltergeist is about families. Indiana Jones is about families. Do you know what I mean? So this guy could speak via directing, via taking a story and directing it masterfully, and he could subconsciously speak to your mind as he drives you within that film, and he's brilliant.
He can I just say quickly, he straddles. He straddles. Round, do you want to get a laugh in there? He straddles popcorn and art house perfectly. So
yes,
you know,
he does, and that's the genius of Spielberg.
Even I'll just say, even Saving Private Ryan technically was about families.
Of course it was. It was about trying to find. So I mean, Spielberg really did have an angle on families. Even when you look at Jaws, it was about family. You know, so because Spielberg came from a broken family. Do you know what I mean? And that's what drove his work. Obviously, when he got older, he kind of came out of that fantastical era and became a director of not so worth, in my opinion. I think he lost a lot of stuff by growing up, put it that way. But you know, he's still. You cannot take away the achievements that this man has done. And again, I keep saying this. I do not say this lightly. If I can reach his
doesn't.
height, I'll be half of his height. I'll be happy. This guy's a genius. What can I say?
Yeah, agreed.
Well said.
Okay.
That's with comments. Sorry, with rousing monologues like that. That is why we do not pay the MegaGeek anything to come on this channel.
Damn it! I'm not getting paid. Bye.
No. So the picture on screen, it's almost like the golden trinity of the series, isn't it? So you've got the master on the left. You've got Ford,
Skinny George Lucas.
Ford in the middle before he became complicit, and you've got George looking buff, sponsored
Before he ate all the
before he
very
gained
buff.
like 400
sponsored
pounds.
by VistaVision.
I think that might even be CGI at this point. Got a green T-shirt on.
But you know what?
It's not the River Thames, is it, in the background?
You've got the
Or Las
artist,
Vegas.
You've got the artist, the actor, and the businessman. I mean, what a perfect combination right there.
Yeah,
You know?
that's it. That is a great trinity.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Yeah. But I just
I tell you what, Reni, do you want to go?
They can get out of those ropes, can't they? They weren't tied that much, were they? Let's face it.
I know. I like whenever, of course she kisses him goodbye and then, they realize that they each slept with Elsa. And then the guy, I forget the Austrian guy's name. He's like, this is how we say goodbye in Austrian. He knocks him like upside the head.
Yeah.
And then he's like, get my lighter and we'll burn through the ropes. And they wound up burning the whole room. So
it
makes me laugh.
Yeah.
He's trying to blow the flames out. Oh my god!
Connery's trying to blow it out when the fire is going.
How are you going to be able to blow it out? It's on the carpet,
Yeah.
You really just did want to be there with them, didn't you? Yeah.
It's a great
and then they go over to that room when they're in the fireplace, and they have that weird looking chick that just looks at him like,
"Oh, the control room."
Yeah.
There's a lot of sort of farcical slapstick like that, isn't there? That just works so well. Yeah.
Very, very reminiscent of kind of Carry On.
Yes.
Moving on.
Remember that bit where Indiana Jones saves his father, and they meet Elsa in the room, and Sean Connery's going, "Don't listen to her. She's one of them."
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford's going, "What?" And stuff like that. And that scene where he trusts her, and that was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
That was a great scene as well. They have some great scenes in this film.
Oh,
Roadie's this way. My diary's that way. You don't need the diary, Dad. Marcus has the map. Yeah. Brilliant.
Great dialogue between them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You really believed they were father and son, didn't you?
Yeah. And he slaps him in the face. That's for blasphemy, he says.
Yeah.
That's right.
There you go. There you go. I think I got my running order slightly wrong there. That's the where the castle starts to go up in flames, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Such a
Because
great
of
scene.
the lighter incident.
Because he wound up burning his own fingers, so he dropped the lighter on instinct and just
And
started
also,
burning the carpet.
Just to talk about the script again, right? So basically, when I was watching it, when the first time I watched it, I was wondering what happened to Indy's mum. And then there was that line that Sean Connery said, or Harrison Ford said. He said, "I never understood it, nor did Mom." And then Sean Connery goes, "Oh yeah, she did. She understood it very well. So much so she kept her illness away from me." And that says it all, right?
Yeah.
That says it all.
On the
That
bike?
she died of something. Yeah, on the bike. She died of something, but we don't know what she died of.
Yeah.
And it says,
yeah.
and that one line says a lot about Connery's character as well. He was so immersed in his quest that, he neglected his son and his wife.
Yeah.
It just gives it an extra layer of complexity, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a great script. It's a really great script.
Agreed.
Sorry. I should stop now.
Never
I swear we've
apologize
got to be
for
related,
anything.
Ian.
Sorry, what's that?
I said, I swear we've got to be related. You can just come up with some really good things that I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Or like you pay attention to
It's
detail a
good,
lot
isn't
like I
it?
do.
It's good.
Yeah.
But it's just in those days they used to do a lot of shortcuts in scripts that they used to say one line and it meant so much.
Yeah.
You could read into it so much. These days, you know, Tarantino, he takes a whole page explaining something, and it's like, well, you know, you don't have to do that really. You can just say one line.
Well, at least he's better than some of those other directors. Did you guys see the trailer for the Karen movie? You know, that's a real thing.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Oh my God.
No.
Is that a piss take? You know what?
No, it's not.
Is?
No.
Serious film.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, they're making. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
On 2 hours.
Oh, bad. Like I just saw the trailer, but it's got to be bad.
I think that's got a cult classic written all over it for all the wrong reasons.
Well, they didn't even make Karen blonde. What the hell?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Where's the talk to your manager haircut? I mean, seriously.
Ian, have you seen the trailer for it?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I never again, because it looks like crap.
Amen, dude. Amen.
They showed it on Friday Night Tights last night. It was.
I saw an interview with the woman. She's going, "Yes, it's right that we talk about these things and talk about racism and blah." I'm like, "Shut up! You're doing it for a paycheck. No sane person would do that for no money." You know what I mean? It's so wrong.
Yeah.
It looks like it's made by Jordan Peele, doesn't it? It's that bad.
Maybe,
yeah, unfortunately. But you guys know, like, he used to be so awesome when he was on the Key and Peele show. And then, like, he just went super off the rails whenever he turned into a director. So,
Pika in the chat say, I lost brain cells watching the camera.
They owe you brain cells now,
Yeah.
The trailer reminded me a bit of the Michael Keaton film Pacific Heights, where he terrorizes his neighbours.
Oh, that's a good film.
God, yeah, it's a good film. Yeah,
it's a shite version of that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then they copied it with Samuel L. Jackson. There was a similar film with Samuel L. Jackson. It's when he was terrorizing the 2 kids that moved in next to him. Do you remember that one? I can't remember
that one.
I can't remember what it was called, but I remember it was very similar to the film you just mentioned just now, Pacific Heights. So, yeah.
Right, I think we're on overtime on this one. So, okay, as I said, I got my order slightly wrong. So they're in the castle. They've done the lighter. It's gone tits up, as it were. So
they escape.
Hold on.
We're not going on a boat.
So did they escape on the motorbike after the castle?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I got.
Come on, Dad. Come on.
It's so cute that his dad had to ride in the little car.
Yeah.
I love that. He's always got his bag with him and everything, and his umbrella. Yeah, I love it.
But I found the clues they'll take us through to the Chronicles of St. Anselm. He points to this. What are they? And he goes, "Don't you remember? I wrote them in my diary, so I wouldn't have to remember."
Oh brilliant. Yeah, I get so worked
Absolutely
up on that
brilliant.
too.
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. He just stares at him, doesn't he? Goes, yeah, that's the reason why I have to go back for the book, because it's got all the clues in there. So
yeah. I made the book for a reason, so
that's
we have to.
Yeah.
I will say to Cruel Birab, you should check out the Karen trailer, mate. I can't work out if it's being satirical, taking the piss, or genuine. Anyway,
if it was satirical, I'd watch it definitely.
Yeah, same here. But it looks like crap. It really does. It looks like they want to teach us something again.
Yeah.
But all Karens are bad.
Well, that's the line where he goes, "What about Marcus?" And he goes, "Marcus would agree with me." And he goes, "Jesus Christ."
I do like Ford's face.
And he gets slapped in the face.
Yeah.
And he's like, blasphemy. That was for blasphemy. Yep.
Yeah. What a great scene, though. I mean, just goes to show, doesn't it, that Indiana Jones's father attitude has not changed after all these years towards his son.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a terrific scene. As I said, it's very subtle, but if you look closely, there are lots of stuff that subconsciously your mind connects with it, and the story is told through just like a couple of lines. And that's the genius of writing and the genius of Spielberg. So now
much attention to detail through
it. Yeah. Now you're getting closer to what I see by me explaining it. So yeah. So as I said, a lot of people don't see it, but unfortunately I can't unsee it when I watch stuff like this, you know. When it's bad, it's bad. When it's great, it's fantastic, you know.
I agree.
Yeah.
God, he's good.
Not good. I'm just a film enthusiast and a
Oh,
film buff.
Ian, that's
No,
why
it's true. Matt's
yes.
seen this stuff as well. Matt's seen this stuff. I mean, you know, I don't have to explain it to Matt. Matt's seen all this stuff as well.
The reason why you guys are on this channel on a Saturday night is because
What's
that, Matt?
There's a
There's
pub
that.
What's that?
So, because everybody's locked down.
Yeah, we've got something better to do. That's what really, yeah. Right.
I said at the beginning of the stream, I think we've got the best panel on YouTube on a Saturday.
Hard to beat it, I tell you now.
Simple.
I'm not speaking for myself, of course, but
I genuinely think this is a great panel.
Well, you know, if we had the numbers that watch Burnett's thing, we'll be laughing, wouldn't we? But
We would, mate.
Unfortunately, we don't. So
You know, people don't realize what they're missing out on. You guys are all very great, very intelligent. You know your stuff. Have a great passion for everything, and that's what makes these streams great to me.
just movies.
Oh well, thank you, Mr.
Crazy
Brown.
about movies. That's all. Especially good ones. You know, you can see lots of stuff in great movies. You just have to look closely.
We
all.
just need to keep plugging away, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as I said, that was the slight error. So they go to the. Do they go to the airship after that?
I believe so.
No, they basically go to the burning books, and they meet up with Elsa, and he steals the book back.
That's right. And then they go to the setup.
Hitler signs his book.
And then Hitler signs the book.
Yeah, he autographs
For
it.
that bit. Yeah, and Matt, who was the guy that played him? Wasn't he in Great Hill?
It was
Bronson. Yeah.
Bronson, that was it.
Yeah, I think I've got my running order a little bit.
Yeah.
Here it is.
This is what they're doing now, isn't it? Burning books.
Exactly, but digitally they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
These are all the little shits who think they know better than the rest of us.
Dear, oh dear.
This is the leftist mob here, labelling everyone else as Nazis. Yeah.
What's that line he says? All I have to do is squeeze. And she goes, all I have to do is squeeze. Yeah. And then he leaves her. Yeah. He's very broken-hearted, old Indy. He kind of liked her.
Yeah.
There he is.
So there you go.
Admiral Ozzel / Bronson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What a great scene that was. I mean, that actor is so low in the pecking order. He must have been like a pig in shit when he did this scene with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now. Yeah. God. Yeah. What a great scene that was. Terrific.
It was very memorable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But as I'm saying, this has got a class. This is another classic, iconic moment as well in the Indiana Jones saga.
Yeah. When you think back of all the great things that make up the Indiana Jones tapestry, why you love it so much, so many of those little depictions are in this movie, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. The little things that actually makes me sit up. And was that line when he was in the airship when they were talking about, you know, he was saying that, oh, you didn't pay attention to me, and I think Sean Connery was saying, what I did is I taught you self-reliance.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So in other words, he wasn't paying attention to him at all. You know, he was just too busy with his quest. So, you know, and because of that reason, Indy turned into him, his father.
Yeah.
So, you know, because obviously he was upset that his father wouldn't give him any attention. So
he got obsessed with the Grail, didn't he? Yeah.
Even in the beginning, when he runs through the door and he has the cross in his hand, and he goes, Dad, and he goes and he says, he puts his finger up, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He says, Junior. Yeah, and then he count to 10, and then he just leaves. Yeah, in Greek. Yeah, yeah. So, you know, I mean, as I said, it says it all really, and I keep saying, it's a very clever script, and a lot of people don't realize how clever the script is. So, oh yeah, that's the book, isn't it?
That is on the airship, isn't it?
Yes, it's on the airship.
So.
Okay, I think I got my running order slightly mixed up there.
Yeah, ship, and then they get on the plane.
This is where they're going to be doing a fight, isn't it, on the airship?
Well, they cut it out.
Yes.
Yeah, they cut it out. They cut the fight out.
Do you want a bit of trivia that you probably already know?
What's that?
On.
When they filmed the scene where the both of them are sitting over the table in the airship, because it was so hot, neither of them had trousers on at that point.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they had shorties on, didn't they?
Sean didn't want to be sweating too much in that scene.
No. Hey, what's that line? I didn't know you could fly a plane. Fly, yes. Land, no.
No.
How pathetic.
Brilliant.
Okay, so we'll go back to the burning of books. Probably
Mr. Bronson.
Probably. Do you think this is probably one of the most iconic scenes from Indiana?
It's very
Most of the
Yes.
scenes in this film are iconic. Most of them. You
Maybe
know, most
maybe
of them.
top 3. This one. What do you think?
Nah, this one isn't in the top 3. This is further down. But there are more iconic scenes in this film than this one.
I think
in
a
my
lot.
opinion.
No, I mean the overall trilogy. I think there's a lot from number 1.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Indiana Jones meeting Hitler. It's got to be up there.
Oh yeah.
I guess.
Sorry, Mr. Bronson.
Mr. Bronson. And did he not get killed by Darth Vader?
He did. Oslo.
Didn't he? Yeah. Admiral Osmo came too close to the system or something like that. I can't remember the line.
Zamo didn't say no, did he?
Yeah. And he goes, Lord Vader. And he gets killed. Yeah. And this is where Alexei Sale turns up.
Oh yeah.
Hello, John. Got a new motor.
Yeah.
I've got a wee problem with that scene.
Oh, you don't like it?
You go.
It's for a start, it's the wrong Rolls Royce that he mentions. And
Yes.
secondary, as an engineer, I was triggered by this. He says, not 200 miles an hour in 12.5 seconds from a 30 brake horsepower engine.
Yeah.
Good luck with that, mate.
I even like the color, he says.
Oh yeah, that was such a
He
good
says
scene.
the keys are in the addiction, sir. And he just
But even see little bits like that, it just shows you how little he cares about the kind of material stuff and
Yeah.
how much he wants to get the grail.
But that's what I'm saying. The script's very clever.
Yeah.
It's very clever, you know. And the guy obviously wanted the car. He didn't care what they were going to do to his land at all, because I think he was the emperor or the king of that part of the world, and he didn't care. All he wanted was the car and the money, you know. So and he gave them horses and he gave them all kinds of stuff, didn't he? So that's what I'm saying. So that's how clever the script is. With one line, we know what kind of a character this Alexei Sale's character is.
Well, both of them. in
Yeah.
that scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peacat in the chat. I love the scene where Indy tosses the Nazi out the window and says,
No
ticket.
Yeah.
And then all the tickets appear from
Reni
nowhere.
mentioned that earlier, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
It's a
Yeah.
great scene because everybody's like, "Oh, better get my tickets."
Yeah. Tickets, please. That's what you say, everybody. It's a great scene. Absolutely great. I love this
Okay,
scene as
I've done
well.
it. I've
This
I'm
is
assuming-
after the airship.
correct.
Are you still there, Brown?
It's going spotty.
Oh, okay.
Get some cream for it.
Carry on. Carry on.
Now, this is the scene where they jump into a car, steal the man. The man was changing his tire and they steal the car and they drove off and the plane starts chasing them and they go in a tunnel. The plane's wings come off and it passes them and it blows up. Do you remember that scene? That was quite funny as well.
Yeah.
They kind
And
of
then they
level
come
off at
out.
one point and the pilot looks
Yeah,
over.
yeah. I thought it was very funny. It was bad effects though when you look at it today, and especially the bird scene. The bad effects on that as well. But it's still part of Indiana Jones, and it's a great scene. How he dispenses with the plane, with the birds.
Deplay. So this is the biplane where after Sean Connery had shot the tail bit off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they crash landed. And he says, "Nice landing, son. Thanks." Yeah, dear. Am I the only one enjoying this stream?
No,
are,
I
mate.
love it.
I think
Having
you are.
some technical difficulties, but yes, I agree with you, MegaGeek.
Yeah, it's such a great scene.
Right, we're getting
Well,
onto the good stuff
you've
now.
jumped right to the end.
Oh, have I?
Chase with the tank. Yeah, the tank.
So
chase.
what happens to what happens after the plane?
The plane, they steal the car and they get chased by the planes.
Oh, right. Okay. So I've
Yeah.
got the running order slightly. So it was the one before then. So
Yeah.
it's that one then.
Yeah,
Right,
that
okay.
one.
There's
And
a
then
lot of talking, isn't there, in this movie?
Are they Messerschmitts or Fokkers?
I don't know what they are. Tell you the
I
truth.
think they're Messerschmitts, to be fair.
Oh, jeez.
They bombed our chip shop. You know that, don't you?
Oh, you're going back. Oh, hello.
Right.
You've jumped
So the
right
tank-
towards the ending.
Have I?
Yeah, it's all right. There's the tank. There's the tank chase.
So this is after the Messerschmitts and the car, then, yes?
No.
Is there any? Oh, okay. So what happens in between?
In between is when we get Alexei Sale, and he says he's going to give them camels and tanks and crap.
Oh, right, okay. So I've got the correct photographs, but in the wrong order.
Yeah.
Much like Morecambe and Wise.
Yeah.
Piano.
Yeah.
All the right notes.
Not necessarily in the right order. Yeah.
Predictable, you see. Okay, so this is the tank scene. I remember the stunts they look pretty dangerous, to be fair.
Yeah. But it was all safe though, because but they built a big rig, didn't they, on that tank when they were on it, and and obviously Connery and Dem and Elliot was in a studio when they did the inside of the tank, or did they? I can't remember. But the scene where the bullet bounces all over the place and shoots the operator in the head, that was quite funny as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good scene. As I said, it's a horse chase, fighting the Nazis. They must have been sweating like pigs because they were just wearing so much stuff.
Imagine,
German pigs.
Yeah.
Nazi pigs.
A really good scene. What can I say?
As we said on the previous stream during the week, Indiana Jones is going to be punching Nazis back in time on the next one.
Oh Lord, yeah.
That's why he hurt his shoulder, isn't it?
What kind of
punching them Nazis?
Is it a portal or
a porthole?
Yeah, it's a porthole. That's what it is. Yeah.
And then starts, punching Nazis at what? Isn't he like 80?
Back in time.
I mean,
so they have that scene. So they have that scene where Harrison Ford's hanging off the bit of the gun barrel on the tank.
Oh, you mean that one?
And basically he's gonna get crushed with a rock in front of him that's coming towards him, and then you have Sean Connery reaching for the gun. So it was dovetailing each bit. So it would cut to Sean Connery trying to reach for the gun with the Nazi inside the tank, and then it would cut to Indiana Jones trying to get out of this situation here, which I thought was quite clever. I don't know what you guys thought. And then that's when the bullet bounces and then it hits the guy in the head and he falls on the controls, and then the tank swerves out the way of the rock.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love that. He got hit because of the ricochet, not because it was being pointed at him.
Yeah. And then Indiana comes up on the tank and beats the crap out of that German fella.
He goes over the tracks.
And then when he opens the thing on the tank and Connery's head pops out, and he says, "Dad," and Connery goes, "You call this archaeology?" I thought that was quite funny as well.
Did you recognise the tank crew member who gets hit with the periscope?
Who was it?
Well, I was obviously just watching it the other day. I thought, I know that guy's face, and it took me a minute to work out who it was. It's, believe it or not, Nick Gillard. He's the guy who choreographed all the lightsaber battles in the Star Wars prequel trilogy.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. Good.
He
also he's got a very brief appearance as a Jedi as well, at Jedi Temple. Anakin killed him.
Not Brian Young delivers top trivia.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Good one, Brian.
Did not know.
Gillard.
I'll be looking for it in the future.
He was badly missed in the sequels, but anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on. That's Kathleen Kennedy goes up to Harrison Ford and goes, "Do you want to do
a new contract?
Do you want to do number 5?
And
go punch some Nazis back in time."
He goes, "How much? 50 billion. Okay, I'll do it." Yeah.
I'll have a Cessna 248 light aircraft.
If she said 49 billion, he would have said no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Harrison Ford should be ashamed of himself for doing this one. He really should. This is not going to be good. I hope it's good, though. I hope I enjoy it.
So do I.
I don't think I am, though, unfortunately. Because, as I said, you can't have the rough and tumble with this now, with Ford, because he's too old. And then anything else, if they do it, and it's going to be a stuntman, it's going to be obvious as a stuntman and CGI for his face. And I don't know. Too much CGI doesn't
How
really
could
work.
you compare to this though? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it all depends on what the story is. You know what? It's never going to be good as the 3, but what it's going to be, if they're lucky, is enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because the number 4 wasn't. It was enjoyable to a point, and then it just basically shit the bed. That's what it did. You know, if it didn't do that, if it was enjoyable all the way through without the aliens and crap, you know, it would have been acceptable. So I'm just hoping that Indy 5 is acceptable and enjoyable without the white crap. Yeah, so that's all you can hope for, really, because you know it's not going to be good as the first 3.
Yeah.
You know it's not going to be good. So anyway,
okay. So obviously the tank has gone off the edge of the cliff.
Junior. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed when they cut to the big close up of Connery, it was shot on another day because his beard is not as dark as the original footage, so that it's obviously stuck a false beard on his face. So if you watch it again, look at that scene where they have the close up of Connery looking over the. It's obviously they shot that in Pinewood or something for the close up. Yeah. So there
Ian,
you go.
is that scene being copied in other films, or was there another film before this? There was something rang a bell about that when I watched it again.
Yeah, they've copied. I mean, this is another iconic scene that a lot of films have copied, isn't it? Like, you know, something going over the cliff, you think the person is dead and they're not, basically. But in the original shot, he was hanging off a branch, because there's photographs of him hanging off a branch, but you never see it in the film. You just see him come behind them. Yeah. Yeah, what's that line? He's gone. I never got a chance to say anything to him. He says to Marcus, doesn't he? I thought I lost you, boy. He says to him,
boy.
It's a great scene, man. It's a great scene. And this in Golden Voyage of Sinbad. This place.
It is an actual place, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Because it's a very well-known tourist attraction, isn't it? That place.
It is. I can't remember where it is now. Is it Turkey?
I don't know.
It's not Tunisia, is it?
I don't know. I really
Does
don't know.
anybody in the chat know where this is? Because I forgot to take the name of it, like a pudding. So there you
go. What does this junior mean? Oh, Indiana. He was named after the dog. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
Right at the very ending. Named after the dog.
Sala starts laughing like crazy. You were named after the dog?
Yeah. I love that scene as well. Look at the symmetry in that shot between the Germans and the goodies. Fantastic.
The goodies?
The goodies.
What, Bill Oddie? Goody, yum, yum.
That's a really good, composed frame right there.
MegaGeek gets technical.
Well, it is, you know. Yeah, any other director wouldn't have done this. But there you go.
There's a bit of a vanishing point going on there, isn't there?
Yeah, that's because they all walk up, don't they, in one line, and they point their guns at them.
And it's a very kind of, you look from left to right as well.
Yeah.
So we're going into that kind of Palace Sea thing, aren't we now? So
and he shoots his dad, shoots him in the chest. Can't think he can save him.
Yeah, that really got
the Holy Grail. Yeah, it's the Holy Grail.
And you've got the Alison Doddy Nazi woman.
Yeah.
In her true colours.
Sorry.
Do you like a woman in uniform, Ian?
Not half, mate. Not half.
Is this turning into a carry-on stream?
Well, you started it, mate.
No, I didn't.
Only the penitent man can pass. Remember that. Only the penitent man can pass.
Yeah. So the Julian Glover character sends some of the kind of serfs into the chamber. They all get killed, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but
and then after Connery's been shot, he sends Indy in, doesn't he?
Yeah, the only way you can save your dad is to get the Grail.
and he figures out with all the kind of footsteps
Yeah.
stuff, doesn't he? If I remember correctly.
Yeah. What is it? The numbers or something like that. I can't
Yeah.
remember what number it was, and then he puts his foot through the wrong one.
Is it
It's
something to do with
the name of God, isn't it?
Jehovah spelled with an I.
Jehovah, and it's the
Yeah.
Greek.
Yeah. It's spelled with an I, he says. That's Connery's. Sorry, that's Ford's acting. He was overacting at one line or one sentence.
MC in the chats helping the channel out as he always does. The old building
Jordan.
is in Jordan, and we're not talking about the model either.
Oh, God.
But then, although it's probably big enough to go inside Jordan.
Oh.
Another carry-on joke.
Absolute filth.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, stop it.
It's a leap of faith. It's a leap of faith. And he throws
like
the
this
sand,
stream.
doesn't he? Throws the sand on the thing so that whoever's following him could see that it's an illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a good scene as well. He chose poorly. You chose wisely.
Again, I've got to say, MC truly is the president of Wingmen. MC in the chat says, all I said was that piece of fish was good enough for Jehovah.
What piece of fish? I don't get it.
Jehovah.
But yeah, this is a good scene. This is a good scene because it just goes to show greedy people when I saw the cup.
Well
And he's
done, MC.
like, that's the cup, and he picks it up and he puts the water and he drinks it, and then he turns into a skeleton, doesn't he? Because all you could see was riches. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Connery,
was almost as like morbid as the melting scene in Raiders, wasn't it?
yeah,
Very
I think
similar.
I've got my order slightly wrong here, so I do apologise.
Yeah.
So Julian
That's-
Glover's...
Julian Glover turns into Doc Brown here. Have you not noticed?
Yep.
Via Pycelle.
Yeah,
Stop, Marty.
yeah.
MC in the chat says, just going back to the previous comment, this is specifically for you, MegaGeek, Life of Brian.
What about it?
That's
Yeah,
the
I
Jehovah
like
reference.
Yeah.
Moving on swiftly. So
But even the front bit when he's turning old, he looks like Doc Brown. When I was watching this,
no
I was thinking,
relation.
that's Doc Brown. It looks like Doc Brown, and then he dies, obviously. And that really great scene when his ashes are disappearing and you see the little badge with the swastika on it. As the sand is moving. That's really good. Really good. That reminds me of the shot in Raiders of the Lost Ark when the rat is going towards the crate, and then it starts burning and it burns out the swastika. Do you remember that in Raiders?
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of reminds me of that. He's obviously playing the same tune.
Symbolism, yeah.
So this is the Harrison Ford giving the holy water, isn't it, to his old man?
That's right. The cup of the carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To because he chose wisely.
He did indeed. He did indeed.
See, I've not watched this film for a long time, and even I remember the quotes.
As I said, it's a great movie. I mean, you can't really. Yes, it's not perfect, but when it comes to entertainment value, it's incredibly entertaining. And I challenge anyone not to watch this film and not get any enjoyment out of it.
Tell you what, I really want to go back
There's
and
a challenge.
play. I really want to play the old LucasArts point and click Fate of Atlantis game now again. I really do. Oh my god, this has got me so hyped. Just talking about this.
Yeah, and he gives him the drink, and his bullet hole disappears.
Yeah. He pours it on him.
It fizzes.
I always thought at the time because Indy and his father drank from the Grail. I thought, oh right, that they're immortal now. Then that's it. But it's no, because they went beyond the seal. It didn't.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I used to think that as a kid too. I was like, oh, they're immortal, and as an adult, I'm like, oh, they passed the seal. Duh, they're not immortal.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
And Alison Doody picks up and goes, "We did it, Indy. We got it. Don't pass the seal. The knight warned us." And then she passes the seal with the cup in her hand, and that's when everything starts breaking up. And
Yeah, it's where it goes tits up, isn't it?
yeah, silly woman. I can almost reach it, Indy. And then she falls through that crack in the thing, and you can tell she falls in some mat.
Yeah.
And she's
Through
falling
dry ice.
More than
Yeah,
6
you
feet.
can prove that. Yeah, you can tell.
All great.
Yeah, it's good though. It's a good scene. It's a really good
Even the
scene.
cat likes it.
Right.
Yep, sorry.
Alison Doody though.
Oh.
Bloody Nora. Suits you, sir.
I think that is the last graphic. So she goes down, as you said, she goes down into the...
She goes down.
Oh dear.
Reni!
Shafted.
She gets shafted, yeah. And she goes down, yeah. Anything else?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
MC in the chat says the bounce was the giveaway.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
dry
Just
ice
about
parting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Indiana, let it go, he says to him. And he does.
And then that's it, practically, isn't it?
Yeah. And they ride off into the sunset, literally.
You have the music of John Williams.
Yeah. All the way through, in fact. So what did you get, Dad? And he says, me? Enlightenment. And they get on the horse. And Salah says, Junior? He goes, what does this Junior mean? Indy. Yeah, it's great. And they ride off into the sunset because then Elliot's horse goes out of control and they run to try and calm it down at the end. And then they ride into the sunset. And it's the end. It's the end of a great trilogy. And then they fucked it up, didn't they?
They ride off into a John Williams score, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the end. Definitely the end. And then, because
And then they
Greed,
go hunting aliens in the next one.
they should learn off Elsa. Elsa was greedy and she died. They should have just left Indy.
Yeah.
Is she like a younger
But they're not
version of
greedy.
Kathleen Kennedy?
Much better looking than Catherine.
Before all this
not visually
shite. Of
But she
modern
didn't
day.
do anything after this because she got married to some really rich, handsome geezer and kind of stopped acting. She's been in a few things. She's had her face touched up a lot, though. I've seen her recently. No, but it's, I mean, look, I'm just telling you a fact here. You know, it's I'm not passing judgment on her. If she wants to do that, it's her thing, isn't it? But just telling you the facts. Just telling you the facts, ma'am. Just telling you the facts.
MC in the chat says, yes, good point, MegaGeek.
What point? What point?
Indeed.
Yeah. So I did really fancy her when I first saw this movie.
Oh yeah.
So guys, so we will sum up and toodle off into the desert, as it were, into the Williams soundtrack. So Brian, do you want to sum up your thoughts in a sentence, paragraph?
After having watched it as a kid and then watching it as an adult, I feared that I might not live up to my memories, but thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. Great fun, great escapism. As Ian said, the script is absolutely fantastic. They struggle to make anything like as good as this today, which is a sad thing. And I think, leave the franchise alone, Junior, for Christ's sake.
Connor's
Nice.
walked in.
Back from the dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's been
Or you're
drinking
being
the
haunted by
holy
him.
water again.
could you imagine being haunted by Sean Connery's ghost?
Telling you to pull yourself together every 5 minutes.
I will just say, Cam, you are welcome. It's a honour we bestow on people we like on this channel, so you're more than welcome. So, Swap Shop, do you want to sum up sentence, paragraph?
Wow, what can I say about this film I haven't already said, really?
Or in your case, perhaps a chapter?
Oh, don't. Man, this film was just such the perfect bookend to the trilogy and their story. It didn't need anything else after it, although we all wanted more. But then that's the best thing, isn't it? To keep people wanting, not necessarily give them substandard dreck, is, you know, just provide them with amazing entertainment and leave them with those great memories. And this film did it. And the film will always be my favorite of the trilogy because, like Return of the Jedi, it's the only one I saw in the cinema. The only one I was old enough to see in the cinema. So I had that great. It was much more of a spectacle for me watching this film. So it'll always have that special place out of all three. You know, you might say Raiders is technically the best or whatever, you know, the best story or whatever, but this one will just be, there's so much in it. There's so much in it. And it just is a massive, long joyride of gifts that keeps
They were on the top of their game.
Yeah, they really were. They really were. And, you know, they come off the back of the previous two movies and learned so much. And they were, you know, absolute professionals at this point, that they knew how to make a really great third film. And God, did they deliver it? Did they ever deliver it? You know, and I was like Brian, I was a little bit skeptical before I went to watch it because, you know, back then in the 80s, sequels were generally really bad of movies. And it was really rare to get a good one. When you did get a good one, it was to be celebrated. But to get two great ones, you know, like a great trilogy, that was just, how rare is that? Come on. There's just nothing I don't like about this film, to be honest with you. Just one of my all-time utter loves of cinema. It always will be. No matter what shortcomings there are or errors or faults it may have, I don't see them and I never will. It's just awesome.
I will say, just quickly going back to your sequels are usually not better. I think the week after this, Star Trek V was released. So,
yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, it was God one of a starship. That's why.
Yeah. We will never know. I'm going to ask MegaGeek. Sentence, paragraph. What do you think?
It's just amazing. It's just an amazing trilogy. And as I said, if you next time you watch this film or any of the trilogies, just try and think deeper with everything that they say, every line that they say. As I said, Spielberg is old school. He learned his craft in the 70s. And if you watch 70s movies, you will see that the scripts are far more better and far more economical than the scripts of today. Because it's a craft. That writing a script for the screen was a craft. Today is just nonsense today, in my opinion. Crafting a script is the first step to making a really good movie. And these three films had great scripts and a great director and a great businessman and great acting and great effects. Sorry, I can go on forever.
And a great reviewer.
Yeah, I will stop there. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing more I could say. But the one thing I'll leave you with is, if you ever get to see any of these films again, please listen to what they're saying. Because have you ever wondered why subconsciously, or when you come out to cinema, why you liked it so much? It's because subconsciously Spielberg had put all these things in it and you didn't realize what he was manipulating you, and you didn't realize you were being manipulated. And that's the genius of these films. Yeah. So if you want to know why you felt that way, watch them again and try and watch them deeper this time. You know, that's my advice. But the thing
is, the movies move at such a pace; it's hard to do that, isn't it?
I know, but all the information is there.
That's homework for the chat.
It's all there, all of it. Same thing with Empire Strikes Back. Same thing with Star Wars. Lots of deep meanings in those films. Oh, yeah. Return of the Jedi, not so much because it had teddy bears in it, but apart from that,
I think this is what makes them so timeless, isn't it? Is the fact that you can go back and really appreciate these subsurface details that you never spot really on the first go round. Yeah. There's so much more value in movies like back then. These days, it's just churned out to be forgotten in 5 minutes, but they were really made to last, weren't they?
They were, definitely. Yeah. They definitely were.
Last, but by no means least, Reni, thoughts?
Well, as you guys know, this is my favorite of the trilogy, and I think all of you pretty much summed it up pretty well. It was tied up very nicely and neatly with a pretty little bow. All of the character arcs were pretty much finished. Everyone had seemed to, the disconnect between Indiana and his father seemed to kind of mend itself whenever they both went on a mission together or when they went on an adventure together. It kind of helped to heal some old wounds. That was nice. You got to see, like, I believe was it you, MegaGeek, or was it Matt that said they were all a family? Like Sala and Marcus and Henry Jones Jr. and Sr. were all kind of like a family.
Even the production crew were family by the looks of it.
Yeah. And so it's a feel-good movie that, like, I think anyone can enjoy. And yes, it is a little bit older, but it's got practical effects. It's not all reliant on CG, and it's reliant upon the acting, and that's what makes it a great film. I love it. I don't really see a whole lot of faults with it, just like what Matt said. I just really can't find fault with this movie.
There you go. Mic drop. I will just say I do like this movie. As I said, I think they were all on the top of their games, and it just all came together really well. And if they were going to make more films, they should have made them a lot sooner instead of just leaving it until 2 decades later. And
Absolutely.
I think that was one of the fundamental problems with the Crystal Skull, which I do like as a film, but there's kind of a big caveat. So yeah. So looking back, they should have probably left it at this, but the Hollywood money machine keeps rolling, doesn't it? So there you go.
Yeah. Well, and I think they've just run out of ideas after so long. So it's like, oh, well, let's either reboot this and change it, or redo this story and remake it, or let's make yet another sequel or prequel. They can't think of anything original anymore. They're out of ideas.
Everything's getting recycled.
Yeah.
I just remembered. I think I read this week Spielberg was approached, I think, by Universal or one of the big film companies to ask if they can remake Jaws.
Oh yeah.
And he said, no way.
Yeah.
Same thing at ET as well. They approached him about ET. He said no.
I read that this week that Jaws, they were wanting to make Jaws, and he went, nope.
You can't. I'm sorry, but that's just a fool's errand doing that. You're just gonna fall short. You are going to fall short no matter what you do.
It's like the remake of Psycho. Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
that was a huge success, was it not?
Yeah,
it was a huge big flop. That's what it was.
Cam in the chat says, at the MegaGeek is a treasure trove of cinema. I'd lose brain for a weekend. You can have it. I love your analysis.
There you go.
Oh.
They are good.
Thank you very much, Cam.
You're so sweet, Cam.
MC says, never ever remake Jaws. And we're not talking about the Bond one either.
Deep Blue Sea, didn't they? And that was kind of, you can't really do much more than that. You can't remake something that was iconic and groundbreaking. It's already been done. Do something new.
I'm just going to ask one more question, if I may, before we finish. The question is, if you could choose if you could only watch one Indiana Jones film ever again for the rest of your life, Brian, which one would it be?
What question?
I know. I just thought of it.
I'm going to opt for this one.
So your Last Crusade.
I'm going to have to go for this one. I'm biased now because it's the one I've seen most recently, and I've enjoyed it so much this week that I'm going to pop for that.
In the chat, hello Rob, says Raiders. I will say, anybody who's watching this, in the chat, one film, one Indiana Jones, before we go, which one would it be? So if you could quickly just say which one, we'll try and get it on screen before we pop off. Matt?
Oh, it's a toss-up between this one and don't. It's a toss-up between this one and Raiders, but I'm going to go for this one. This pips it.
Who's clapping there?
Me.
It's the
All
cat.
right, okay.
I trained my cat to clap.
In my hat.
MC says Raiders. MegaGeek. Which one?
I'd rather die than pick one from the three.
Is it like choosing children?
Yes. So I know which one is my favorite, but like a good parent, I will not say. So there you go.
I'm pretty sure it's Temple of Doom after last week.
You'll be surprised. Yeah.
Lovely...
I wouldn't choose because they're all great films.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like as Ian says, it's like choosing. It's like saying to your kids, right? He's
not
my
that
favorite.
we've got them. Well, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
The lovely Sandra Feliciano Hale says Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
MC says Alison Doody could swing it for me.
Yeah, well, see what she looks like now and then make a choice, pal.
Oh,
Alison Doody.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Reni,
Like Doody.
I think we kind of guess which one you're going to choose.
Oh, it's going to be this one, Last Crusade, all the way. Absolute favorite. I mean, I love Raiders, and I don't absolutely hate Temple of Doom. It's just my least favorite of the three, and I just don't feel like it meshes with the Indiana Jones theme.
It's a different theme. It's a different kind of experience.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still not a bad movie. But yeah, this one's my all-time favorite. You know, my mom and I used to watch it together, so it's got a little bit of a sentimental value to me. I love the humor and the feel good of it whenever the movie ends. It's just like one of those movies that when it ends, it's like, oh, that was so awesome. You know, so I have to go with this one.
Oh, I'm just looking at Alison Doody now. She still looks good. Whoa.
Oh, dang. Lots of surgery.
She still looks
May
good.
I choose mine?
No.
Hair brown or hair brune.
Hair brown.
Hair brune.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm going to say something which
Hello,
the
the
Mega Geek and I, even though obviously Ian's technical knowledge is on a deeper level than mine, I think we kind of have a similar kind of thing for films, though. And obviously, I'm not going to say what he would choose, but my choice, it would be very difficult between Raiders and The Last Crusade, because both have got plus and minuses. But I think I'm going to say Crusade because it's got the extra level, if you understand what I mean. Because of this kind of Sean Connery stuff, there's just an extra. It's subtle, but I think there's an extra level to The Last Crusade over Raiders of the Lost Ark. Both are amazing films. Oh, fucking hell!
Whoa.
Both are blobbing off.
Both are blobbing off. What's that mean?
My internet.
All right. I'm sorry, I take it back. Alison Doody looks great at 55. Fucking hell. Woo! Woo, woo, woo. Wow. Unless these pictures have not been photoshopped. Oof. Hello, nurse. Bloody hell. Yeah, she's had some work done. Woo! Still, though, I wouldn't say no. There you go.
Am I back yet?
You're back. Go on, carry on.
I'm just going to say that illustrates the secret of comedy: timing. I'm just going to say, in a sentence, The Last Crusade, because there's an extra level as opposed to Raiders. And I think that's down to everybody was on the top of their game for Last Crusade. So there you go. Shall we finish there, guys, before the internet goes completely?
Finished there because I need to go to sleep.
I know. 50
You know what
minutes
time it is
overtime.
over here?
Can you believe it?
Bloody 2
2
o'clock in the morning. God's sakes, Brown. What's going on?
See,
Listen,
it's
if you
different for
didn't,
me. It's only 8 p.m. here, so
I know, you're lucky.
the night is young. If you didn't enjoy this, Ian, you wouldn't have stuck with it this long.
Absolutely. You're absolutely, you got me there, pal. You
Yeah.
got me there.
So I will just say to everybody in the chat, as I always say, we are nothing without the interaction from you guys, and I genuinely think it's been a good one tonight. So I hope you've enjoyed this as much as we have. Technical difficulties aside, I genuinely think this has been a good one on 2 hours 50. I will just thank our guests, not Brian Young.
Thanks again, Mr. Brown. Thanks to the chat, and thanks to my fellow guests for a fun stream this evening. Been great.
Yeah, it's been a great one tonight. Yeah. Cheers, my friend.
Thank you.
Swap Shop.
Thank you again for the invite and coming on to talk about one of my favourite movies. It's been awesome listening to everyone else's accounts, and it just makes me so sentimental for these movies and to go back and watch them again. And it's been a lovely end to my night for the last almost 3 hours, but it's been well spent, even though I'm knackered.
Cheers, mate. Just as I said, hearing the joy, it's good, mate. Cheers.
You're welcome.
MegaGeek, thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks to everyone, actually. I think this is, I love talking about movies, and this is one of the best.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you know, I love hearing what Brian and Matt and Reni had to say about this movie. Very, very enjoyable. And the only thing that spoiled it was Brown, of course. But there you go. So just you have to put up with him. But there you go.
Brown, hair Brown, and his internet connection. I know. As I say every time, Ian, it wouldn't be the same without you. So thank you, my friend.
Okay.
He doesn't take
cheers,
a compliment well, does that boy?
No.
Cheers, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I'm convinced. And last but by no means least, the wonderful Reni A.
Oh, thank you again for having me on, Mr. Brown, and thank you to the fellow guest, Ian, Swap Shop, not Brian. You guys are all awesome, and I really enjoy speaking with you. It's just like, you know, chatting with friends, and you sometimes forget that you're actually on a live stream because, you know, it's just like having a chat with friends. And I do want to thank everyone that showed up in the chat, especially my buddies, the Sandra Feliciano. And
cheers, Sandra.
Stellar Heather and JT Kirk and PJ from the Orville Nation, and of course Tyrone Beard, the love of my life. So I just want to thank you guys for showing up and your support. These guys are awesome, and they definitely need to be heard. So I'm sure they appreciate you guys coming to listen as well. So just wanted to say that.
Great. I'd like to thank Alison Dooley for actually, you know, making me feel the way I did when I was watching the film. So there you go. Alison, if you're around.
Speaking of carry on chat.
Yeah.
Oh Lordy.
I'll just say thank you to everybody, and I will give MC the last word. Swap Shop, do you want to read that, and then we'll pop off?
A happy finish.
We will. I think we're going to be back on Tuesday after the football, so we'll see you Tuesday, everybody. So, as I said, to the chat, thank you. To the guests, wonderful. If any of you are watching this on repeat or on, you know, on the catch up and are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. We would appreciate the clicks. So, I think that's it, boys and girls. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.